the clandestine playbook to master the art of manipulation and dark psychology. Are you tired of feeling like a puppet in someone else's hands? Do you find yourself falling for manipulative tactics and struggling to break free? Imagine meeting someone who seems charming and genuine, until you realize too late that their kindness was only a mask. If you've ever felt uncertain, wondering if someone was trying to influence your choices or take advantage of your trust, you're not alone. Many of us worry about falling prey to manipulation, unsure of how to defend ourselves against hidden tactics. The Manipulation Playbook reveals powerful, practical insights that let you see through these facades and protect your mind from deceit. Gain the confidence and control you need to navigate any interaction on your terms, without fear of being used or misled. Thanks to this restricted blueprint, you will discover the secrets to see through the illusions others create, learn to identify subtle signs of manipulation, so you're never caught off guard by hidden agendas or deceptive tactics. Take control of your reactions, gain strategies to stay calm, focused, and in control, even when someone tries to influence your emotions or decisions. Master the power of influence. Understand how manipulators use psychology to sway others and discover ways to protect yourself from these tactics in personal and professional settings. Uncover the secrets of persuasive communication. Decode the language cues and body language that manipulators rely on, allowing you to recognize and neutralize their influence. Build resilience against manipulation. Develop the confidence and mental strength to defend against anyone who attempts to control or mislead you, ensuring your mind stays your own. And there's more. Chapter 1. The Invisible Puppeteers. Understanding covert manipulation. The most effective way to manipulate people is to deny them information. Adolf Hitler. The sun had just passed its zenith when Alice found herself seated at the old pine table, idly stirring her cold coffee. The corner cafe buzzed with the hum of midday patrons, a dance of clinking china and muted conversations that swirled around her like a gentle breeze. Outside, leaves painted in autumn's flame fluttered to the ground, a few settling on the windowsill, as if they too were curious about the thoughts churning inside Alice's mind. She had always prided herself on being perceptive, a discerning soul amidst a sea of carelessness. Yet now she questioned her own judgment, the events of the past months unfurling in her memory. There was a charming suitor, whose words flowed like honey, sweet and smooth, and promises gilded with the luster of dreams yet unspoken. His presence was magnetic, yet ephemeral, like mist over morning meadows. Was it her want for warmth that blinded her, or had his subtleties snagged her in a web woven with threads unseen? Across the room, a child's laughter sliced through her reverie, bringing her back to the chatter and the scent of roasted coffee. The moment was a tender mercy, a simple purity that seemed at odds with the shadows that played at the edges of her awareness. She remembered reading somewhere of manipulation being akin to a silent tide, creeping over defenses and washing away reason. Alice now felt the chilling caress of those waters at her feet. She considered how biases are like the silent undercurrents, pulling unnoticeably at one's base until you find yourself adrift. A couple at a nearby table argued in hushed tones, a delicate dance of evasion and accusation. A man tried to convince his partner of something unseen, his gestures measured to control. For Alice, it was as if the cafe had become a stage, and she a reluctant student in the art of human motive. She noted the man's skewed smile, the slight tilt of his head, and wondered if this was the rehearsed routine of a master in covert manipulations. Was he another spinner of unseen webs, exploiting vulnerabilities with the grace of a pianist's fingers on ivory keys? Taking a final sip of her coffee, its bitter taste a fitting companion to her musings, Alice considered the masks people wear, each one a crafted guise to navigate the world stage. Her thoughts were a tumultuous sea, and through its waves swam doubts laden with the weight of the gold from false promises. But within that storm, there also stirred a newfound resolve to peel back the veneers, to see the world and its actors with a clarity that she had once perhaps possessed as a child. How many others sit as Alice did, sipping on life's bitter brew, unaware that they drink not by choice, but by the subtle cues of unseen hands. And amongst these myriad grains of truth and deception, how does one find the strength to discern the whisper of reality from the chorus of shadows? The unseen forces that shape our decisions. Our daily lives are a minefield of choices, influenced by factors we often can't see. Imagine the gentle push of a friend that steers you towards a decision, the subtle nudge of an advertisement that suddenly makes you feel a need for a product, or the charisma of a politician that pulls at your heartstrings. These scenarios may not trigger alarms of concern, yet they share a common thread: the art of covert manipulation, an invisible dance that plays out in the corridors of our subconscious mind. In the complexity of human interactions, manipulation can often be as indiscernible as the air we breathe, yet with consequences as tangible as the ground under our feet. To begin peeling back the layers of this hidden reality, you must first recognize manipulation's elusive nature. It operates in the shadows, exploiting our cognitive biases and emotional vulnerabilities with the precision of a seasoned puppeteer. As we embark on this journey into the arcane realm of manipulation, a heightened sense of perception becomes our greatest ally. In uncovering the traits of subtle and covert manipulation, one must understand the quiet power behind these unseen forces. Such manipulation does not announce itself with fanfare. Instead, it whispers, entwines, and permeates through the smallest of actions and the most innocent of words. It can manifest in a friend's seemingly supportive advice, which, upon closer examination, reveals an attempt to steer a decision for their benefit, not yours. It's the marketing strategies that play upon your insecurities, the societal pressures that dictate your lifestyle, and even the group dynamics that silently dictate your place and role. Cognitive biases are the chinks in our mental armor that manipulators aim for. Confirmation bias that seeks reinforcement of our beliefs, the sunk cost fallacy that binds us to our past commitments, and the bandwagon effect that preys upon our fear of exclusion. Emotional vulnerabilities, on the other hand, are the soft spots within our psyche that respond to flattery, fear, love, and the myriad of human emotions that guide us through life. Recognizing these exploitations requires a vigilant eye and an anchored sense of self. To build defenses against manipulation, one must cultivate vigilance in recognizing such patterns. This vigilance isn't a one-time skill acquisition, but rather a continual practice that embeds itself within our daily routines. Whether it's dissecting a conversation for hidden implications, scrutinizing a media story for bias, or simply listening to the gut feeling that something isn't quite right, this awareness becomes the compass by which we navigate a world rife with manipulation. As we venture deeper into this exploration, we not only unveil the intricacies of manipulation, but also empower ourselves with the understanding necessary to ward off its grasp. The promise of this knowledge is not just an escape from the manipulations of others, but also a liberation of the self, a journey toward authenticity where our decisions are genuinely our own. Through this prism, we examine our relationships, the information we consume, and the societal constructs we abide by, shedding light on areas where we have unknowingly relinquished control. Understanding covert manipulation is akin to learning a new language, the language of autonomy. It equips us with the ability to discern the difference between bona fide influence and sly persuasion. This chapter is just the beginning, a door opening to a world where awareness, understanding, and vigilance empower us to lead lives unmarred by the unseen strings of manipulation. The subsequent pages of this book will not only expand upon these ideas, but also weave together a fabric of strategies that will help you reclaim the narrative of your life. By recognizing the hidden forces at play, we awaken to a new level of personal freedom and authenticity. Understanding covert manipulation. Covert manipulation often occurs imperceptibly, like the silent spread of mist in the early morning. We wake to see the world around us veiled, but struggle to pinpoint the exact moment our view changed. Subtle and covert manipulation operates in a similar fashion. It is the art of influencing others quietly, almost invisibly. The manipulator weaves their influence so seamlessly into the fabric of interaction that its presence is only felt in the outcome, not in the application. It's defined by certain hallmarks: the lack of clear consent or awareness by the person being influenced, the manipulator's intent to sway decision-making or behavior to their advantage, and the use of psychological pressure. These pressures can range from exploiting feelings of guilt or obligation to activating latent fears or desires. The channels through which manipulation flows are often lined with familiarity, relationships, routines, or obligations, and thus appear harmless at first glance. Conversely, the metaphorical handshake between the manipulator and their target never occurs in the open. Just like a chess master who doesn't lay out their strategy for the opponent to see, the manipulator operates through moves that are not apparent or straightforward. By using indirect methods, they steer clear of overt coercion, thus ensuring their tactics remain under the radar. To identify these characteristics, one may observe the context in which decisions are made, or note the recurring patterns that suggest someone's will being subverted. This might manifest as a consistent disregard for personal boundaries, the subtle shift in group dynamics favoring one party's interests, or the feeling of confusion and doubt after an interaction. To grasp the subtleties of manipulation, consider our own vulnerabilities. A manipulator often leverages what we might overlook: a stray word influencing mood, a gesture insisting subtly on urgency, or the fostering of a dependency without concrete ties. These are the threads that, when pulled, can guide us like marionettes, each motion seemingly our own. Understanding the camouflaged nature of covert manipulation is the first step in rendering its clever disguises powerless. The exploitation of bias and vulnerability. Our minds are like fertile soils, prone to the seeds of suggestion that sprout into beliefs and actions. Cognitive biases are the natural grooves and patterns in our mental landscape that make certain thoughts sprout more readily than others. Manipulation, in its cunning form, plants seeds in these predisposed furrows. Cognitive biases such as confirmation bias or the bandwagon effect can be exploited to lead us toward a particular notion or decision. A manipulator might capitalize on confirmation bias by feeding us information that supports a preconceived notion, no matter its truth. The bandwagon effect, wherein we adopt beliefs or behaviors because they are popular or because others are doing so, is another soft target for manipulation. Furthermore, emotional vulnerabilities, when exposed, become the levers a master manipulator needs to tilt the scales. Our need for connection, fear of rejection, or the scars from past traumas can be gently yet decisively pressed upon to steer us towards a chosen path. A manipulator's technique is not unlike the magician's sleight of hand. Misdirection captures our attention, while the real trick unfolds unseen. Biases and vulnerabilities are the distractions exploited to divert our gaze from the true movement, the manipulation itself. As we fixate on the surface, the smile of agreement, the nod of wise advice, we miss the strings being pulled in the shadows. By understanding these biases and vulnerabilities, we arm ourselves against such misdirection. Reflect on your own decisions and consider the influence of groupthink, or ponder the weight of emotions in your judgment. It's not just about recognizing the manipulation directed at us. It's also about becoming aware of how we might unwittingly manipulate others. The framework we use to analyze our own biases can be applied outwardly, fostering both self-awareness and empathy. Analogies aside, the manipulation of our psychological tendencies is a craft honed by observation and practice. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction, a Newtonian truth that also applies to the psychological forces at play. To become immune to manipulation, we must understand the forces that act upon us. What if recognizing our biases and vulnerabilities is the key that could free us from the chains of manipulation? Vigilance in daily life. Awareness is like a lantern in a dark forest. It doesn't fight the darkness, but by its light we navigate safely. Recognizing manipulation in the ebb and flow of daily life requires the maintenance of an inner vigilance. This state of watchfulness is not paranoid suspicion, but rather a keen observation, like a gardener who knows to watch for signs of disease or pests among their plants. In every interaction, at work, in our social circles, even within families, manipulation can flicker momentarily, visible only to those looking closely. It might appear as peer pressure masked as friendly advice or decision, making that subtly benefits only a few. Such instances call not for confrontation, but for understanding and measured responses. The steps toward developing this vigilance begin with self-reflection. Are there patterns in your life where you feel compelled to act against your own interest or discomfort, without knowing exactly why? Identifying these patterns is akin to mapping the terrain. Once you know where the pitfalls are, you can avoid them. Our daily exchanges are filled with a symphony of intentions, some clear and some hidden beneath the surface. To discern these layers, we should strive to listen not just with our ears, but with empathy, experience, and a healthy dose of skepticism. Remember, manipulation thrives in unquestioned routines and unchecked power dynamics. Our goal then should be to question, to challenge subtly, and to reflect constantly. By fostering a perpetual awareness of the forces shaping our decisions, we can reclaim the autonomy of our wills. By fine-tuning our perception to detect the minute discrepancies between action and intention, we begin to see the outlines of invisible puppeteers, those who would sway our choices from the shadows. Our journey, guided by vigilance, turns manipulation's silent beat into a discernible rhythm, warning us in advance of its approach. In combining our understanding of covert manipulation, our recognition of cognitive biases and emotional vulnerabilities, and our development of vigilance in daily contexts, we construct a tapestry of autonomy. Each thread, woven with care and insight, reinforces our defenses against the unseen influences that seek to control us from the sidelines. Together, these strands form a strong shield, protecting our personal sovereignty and guiding us through life with independence and purpose. Moving forward with insight and awareness. As we navigate the complex web of interactions in our daily lives, it is paramount to understand the invisible puppeteers that tug at our strings, often without our conscious realization. By uncovering the characteristics of subtle manipulation, delving into how cognitive biases and emotional vulnerabilities are exploited, and nurturing a heightened vigilance in recognizing manipulation, we equip ourselves with the tools to reclaim our autonomy and secure our inner sanctum from external influences. The journey ahead offers a profound opportunity for self-discovery and empowerment. In the chapters that follow, we will delve deeper into the art of deciphering hidden agendas, mastering the skill of discernment, and cultivating an unwavering strength to stand firm in the face of manipulation. The path to enlightenment is paved with challenges, but through diligent practice and introspection, we can emerge as sentinels of authenticity and guardians of our truth. Embark on this odyssey with an open heart and a curious mind, for the revelations that await will not only sharpen your instincts, but also enrich your life experiences. By unraveling the intricacies of manipulation and honing your ability to thwart its advances, you pave the way for a future adorned with authenticity, clarity, and unyielding self-possession. Chapter 2. Walking the Tightrope. Ethics of Influence. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. Charles Baudelaire. The heat of the midday sun beat insistently against the canvas of the farmer's market stalls, but the true heat for Timothy lay in the interaction ahead. He stood there, a pitcher of lemonade in hand, an earnest smile to mask the tumult within. There was a weight in his pocket, heavier than the coins, a weight of ethical quandary. The flyer he carried spoke of his product's virtues, phrases carefully chosen. Were they persuasive or deceptive? Timothy's mind wandered to his father's lessons, how a man's word was the compass by which he navigated life's course. He remembered the pride in his father's eyes when, as a boy, he had returned the wallet he had found in the park. It was a moment when ethics had been as clear as the daylight, but today, the clarity seemed to dissolve into the murmur of the bustling crowd. As a woman approached, Timothy's practiced pitch began. He noticed her hesitation, the slight furrow of her brows as she listened. His heart raced, not with the thrill of potential sale, but with the fear of crossing the blurred line he so dreaded. His voice held a steadiness it did not feel, betraying none of the inner turmoil. He extolled the freshness of his lemonade, its locally sourced ingredients, but carefully sidestepped the exaggerations and hyperboles his competitors bellowed. The lemon scent wafted in the air, mingling with the smell of sun-warmed earth and the cacophony of neighboring vendors. His speech was interrupted as a child, no older than 7, careened past, chased by the buoyant laughter of youth. For a moment, Timothy's eyes followed the child, and he envied the simple morality of childhood, where each action was guided by a direct sense of right and wrong. Returning his gaze to the woman before him, Timothy made a choice. "It's just lemonade," he said with a disarming honesty. "No miracles, no life-changing experiences. Just a refreshment made with care. I hope you enjoy it." He poured a cup and offered it to her. She took a sip, her eyes lighting up with a simple, unadorned pleasure. In that moment, Timothy found his answer, seeing that trust reflected in a stranger's eyes. The sale was not the day's triumph, but the knowledge that he had not sacrificed his authenticity on the altar of profit. As Timothy watched the woman walk away, sipping her lemonade in the golden afternoon, he pondered if his small act of integrity would ripple forward, if others would taste the truth in his plainness. Could a single cup of lemonade refresh the parched landscape of trust in commerce? Navigating the gray, the delicate dance between persuasion and manipulation. The boundary between persuasion and manipulation is often muddied by our intentions and the ways we interpret our interactions with others. At its core, ethics serve as the compass that guides us through this complex terrain, ensuring that our influence on others honors their autonomy and dignity. Recognizing the fine line that separates influencing ethically from manipulative coercion is critical not only for the health of our personal relationships, but also for the integrity of societal fabric. Persuasion, in its pure form, is a vital part of human communication. It allows us to share our perspectives, inspire change, and advocate for our beliefs. However, when persuasion shifts into the realm of deceit, exploitation, or harm, it becomes manipulation, a force that can erode trust and cause deep psychological impacts. To engage in ethical persuasion is to present ideas and opinions while respecting the freedom and reasoning of others. Manipulation, on the other hand, seeks to gain control or advantage in a way that is dishonest or disregards the well-being of those involved. Digging deeper into the ethics of influence, it is paramount that one learns to identify the manipulative tactics that are strategically made to go unnoticed. These can range from subtle emotional appeals to blatant misinformation. By understanding these tactics, we empower ourselves to remain vigilant and not be swayed by malicious intent, masked as charismatic guidance. In turn, we must ensure that our actions don't inadvertently cross these ethical lines. The importance of ethical boundaries cannot be understated. They are the safeguards that preserve the authenticity of our relationships. Upholding these boundaries fosters environments where trust can flourish and mutual respect abounds. It is here that the inherent value of integrity is most visible, as it cultivates connections that are genuine rather than relationships tarnished by ulterior motives or hidden agendas. In the quest to apply ethical principles to persuasive encounters, one must commit to ongoing self-reflection. Assessing our motives, questioning the outcomes of our influence, and considering the impact of our words and actions are all crucial steps. This chapter not only enlightens us on what constitutes ethical persuasion, but also equips us to apply these insights practically in everyday situations. To navigate this tightrope with proficiency requires constant mindfulness and self-awareness. As we delve into the nuanced dynamics between influence and manipulation, let us be inspired to embrace the power of ethics not as a constraint, but as a beacon that directs us towards more meaningful and fulfilling interactions in our day-to-day lives. Recognizing that every encounter holds the potential for growth and learning, we emerge not only more astute in detecting manipulation, but perhaps more importantly, more adept at influencing with commendable ethicality. Distinguishing ethical persuasion from unethical manipulation. When we communicate, our words and actions are constantly tugging on the invisible threads that connect us to others. Ethical persuasion is a dance of influence, executed with respect and openness. It's like holding out a hand, inviting others to see your point of view, and willingly letting go if they choose not to follow. It's about mutual understanding and respect, aiming to share and enrich perspectives. Contrarily, manipulation yanks those threads without consent. It ensnares an entrapment, trapping the unknowing in a web of deceit. Manipulation is persuasion's shadowy twin. It employs lies, pressure, or play on insecurities to sway someone into a corner. Its essence lies in taking advantage without giving back, always ready to bend the will of others, not through their assent, but through tricks and coercion. Consider a gardener tending to plants. The ethical persuader acts like a careful gardener who nurtures, waters, and looks after the plants, ensuring they have enough sunshine. They influence by creating the right conditions for growth, encouraging a direction but not forcing it. The manipulator, however, is like a gardener who ties strings to the branches, pulling them unnaturally towards the sun, a mimicry of growth born out of force. Knowing the difference between these two forms of influence is critical. While both aim to change minds or behavior, ethical persuasion anchors itself in the truth and a fair exchange of ideas. It celebrates the autonomy of each individual involved. Manipulation, sadly, has an altogether different aim. It benefits one side to the disadvantage, or often harm, of the other. The heart of the distinction is intent and method. Persuasion seeks consent, manipulation takes without asking. The importance of ethical boundaries in relationships. In the rich tapestry of human connection, ethical boundaries are the threads that maintain the integrity of the design. Authentic relationships are built on a foundation of mutual respect, honesty, and trust. These qualities are akin to the sturdy banks of a river that channel its flow and enable it to nurture the land around it. Without these boundaries, the waters of our interactions would spill over and cause destruction, much like a river flooding its banks. But why do ethical boundaries matter so much? They are the agreed-upon limits that govern our behavior, determining what is acceptable and what is not in our interactions. They help us to navigate the give and take of relationships without losing our way. Boundaries signify to others where we stand and what we will tolerate, creating an environment where trust can bloom. Just as a home needs a blueprint, relationships require a framework of boundaries to ensure everyone inside feels safe and respected. When these boundaries are clear and upheld, they generate an atmosphere where people can relax, open up, and truly connect. Authenticity blossoms in such a setting, and it's here that genuine understanding and companionship can take root. If we overlook the importance of these ethical boundaries, our relationships risk becoming superficial or, even worse, exploitative. Without boundaries, there's nothing to stop one person from taking advantage of another's kindness, or to prevent a relationship spiraling into a cycle of manipulation and hurt. Boundaries, therefore, are the safeguards that protect our relationships from descending into emotional anarchy. While it may seem that setting boundaries could distance us, the paradox is that they often bring us closer. They do so by fostering a climate of mutual respect, where each person feels valued and heard. It is a sure path to sustainable and fulfilling connections with others. Could it be that ethical boundaries are the unsinkable life rafts that keep us afloat in the tumultuous sea of human interaction? Applying ethical principles in persuasive encounters. As we navigate the currents of everyday persuasions, holding on to ethical principles is like having a compass in hand. Each encounter calls for discernment, a silent yet powerful assessment of the motives and methods at play. Ethical principles grant us the insight to distinguish which influences are trying to enrich us, and which are seeking to extract from us without giving anything in return. In these encounters, think of yourself as a traveler at a crossroads. Each path, each persuasive appeal leads to a different outcome, and it's the principles of honesty, respect, and fairness that can guide you to the best choice. These principles are your roadmap, helping you understand which paths align with your personal values and which might be a detour into the territory of manipulation. But how do we apply these principles? It's like tasting a meal and discerning the quality of the ingredients. When someone tries to persuade us, we can taste their words, probing for the sincerity in their intent and the authenticity in their arguments. We sense the difference between the richness of genuine advice and the artificial sweetness of flattery meant to deceive. Step by step, we can assess persuasive attempts by asking ourselves several questions. Is this person open to a two-way dialogue, or is it a monologue? Do they honor my right to disagree, or do they push until they get their way? Are they using facts or playing on emotions? Asking such questions helps us maintain our autonomy and keeps others' influence in check. Ultimately, applying ethical principles is about being mindful of the exchanges we participate in. It's recognizing the balance in giving and taking and being vigilant against those who would tip the scales in their favor, to our detriment. By adhering to these principles, we can embrace the benefits of persuasion without falling prey to manipulation. Bringing together our understanding of ethical persuasion, the necessity of boundaries, and the application of principles, we empower ourselves to navigate the tightrope of influence with our integrity intact. Ethics serve as the guiding compass in the complex terrain of influence, distinguishing between the noble art of persuasion and the darker realm of manipulation. By discerning the fine line between ethical persuasion and unethical manipulation, individuals equip themselves with the tools necessary to navigate interpersonal interactions with integrity and empathy. Understanding that ethical boundaries are the pillars supporting authentic relationships built on trust and mutual respect is paramount. It is through the lens of ethical principles that one can assess the ethical implications of their actions and ensure that their influence is wielded responsibly. Applying ethical principles to assess and navigate persuasive encounters is not merely a moral obligation, but a profound opportunity for personal growth and self-discovery. When one aligns their actions with ethical standards, they not only protect themselves and others from harm, but also cultivate a reputation based on sincerity and credibility. Authenticity flourishes in the soil of ethical conduct, fostering connections that transcend superficiality and withstand the test of time. In a world where influence permeates every facet of our lives, mastering the art of ethical persuasion is a transformative journey toward self-awareness and empowerment. By embracing ethical boundaries, individuals not only protect their autonomy, but also cultivate a profound sense of integrity that radiates in their interactions. Let ethics be your navigational star, guiding you through the intricate dance of influence with grace and compassion. Chapter 3. Through the Prism. Multidisciplinary insights into manipulation. Manipulation, fueled with good intent, can be a blessing. But when used wickedly, it is the beginning of a magician's karmic calamity. T.F. Hodge. Morning stretched itself over the city like a lazy cat, the sun yawning through the gentle smog of early day. John Harper found himself in the usual drum of commuters, a throng of bodies scrapping together the dignity of their daily march. But today his mind wove a different pattern, troubled by a recent incident that hung over him, a conversation, or rather a confrontation, that seemed now more a stage play of manipulation than an honest exchange. He shoved his hands into the pockets of his overcoat, fingers tracing the outline of a chess piece he had picked up absent-mindedly from a street vendor. Chess, a game of strategy and deceit, and hadn't that been the case with his old college friend Michael? A smile cloaked as a gesture when it was indeed a gambit. Pushing into the subway car, the familiar squeal of metal on metal filled his ears, and for a moment, his own thoughts were drowned out. The train car swayed as he held firm to the cold steel of the overhead rail, his gaze falling upon a mother gently rocking a stroller to pacify the infant inside. She was skilled in her silent communication, a dance of love and comfort between her and the child. John's mind wandered to that of the psychological dance he had been privy to, the sly exchange of words and meanings hidden beneath the surface. How much of their exchange had been premeditated, a whisper of sociological underpinnings influencing Michael's actions. Out into the bustle once more, where the city's heartbeat could be felt beneath the soles of his shoes. Buildings towered, workers scurried, and the smell of street food mingled with the exhaust of hurried taxis. He passed a group of young activists, passionately decrying some injustice, their leader a maestro of emotions, guiding each follower to a crescendo of outrage. Here was the potency of manipulative behavior laid bare, as raw as the megaphone's shrill cry and as driving as the fervor in their young eyes. Pause for lunch found him in the park, a small oasis where green met gray, and people found solace in the arms of nature. A squirrel darted past, its survival dependent on its wits and the benevolence of urban visitors. John couldn't help but see the parallels, the simple creature and the sophisticated humans, all dancing the same intricate ballet of manipulation for want or need. He watched as a young couple shared a secretive moment, their body language a silent conversation, painting a picture clearer than any spoken word. He recalled his own romantic entanglements, the push and pull of needs and desires, woven into sentences and gestures. Love in its essence could be pure, yet the world tainted even the sincerest of bonds with threads of manipulation. John's mind flitted to the societal implications, the unseen currents that dictate the ebb and flow of human interaction. The day waned, and shadows grew long as John Harper sat on the park bench, reflecting on the multidimensional chessboard of human conduct. Was anyone immune to the tendrils of influence, or were we all mere players in a grander game than we realized? From the personal to the collective, where did the line blur between benign persuasion and darker manipulation? As the sun dipped below the horizon, drawing the curtain on his day of introspection, a single question lingered in John's mind, leaving a taste far more complex than the day's fading light. In our dance with manipulation, are we the puppeteers, the puppets, or perhaps both at once? A convergence of disciplines in decoding manipulation. Manipulation is not an isolated phenomenon, bound by one set of rules or one discipline. It's a multidimensional construct that seeps through psychology, sociology, and communication, each contributing a vital piece to the puzzle of understanding. Embarking on an investigative journey into the heart of manipulation requires a guide that converges these varied paths into a coherent narrative. This chapter is that very confluence, where the wisdom of multiple disciplines interlaces to offer a panoramic view of how manipulation sprawls across our lives and societies. Grasping the psychological underpinnings of manipulation demands a keen eye for the human mind's nuances. The cognitive biases that sway our decisions, the emotional triggers that push our buttons, and the mental blind spots where manipulators often lurk. All of these are foundational concepts that mold our individual susceptibility to influence. To better comprehend manipulation, we must first acknowledge how our psychological makeup could either be our shield or our Achilles heel in the battles we face in the social arena. Digging deeper into the societal terrain, sociological insights equip us with the macro lens needed to discern the overarching power dynamics at play. Manipulation in this context gains a grander scale. It shapes hierarchies, molds cultural norms, and even weaves through the fabric of our social institutions. This exploration sheds light on the intricate dance between individual agency and societal structures, revealing how our interactions are often a reflection of larger forces that guide the flow of influence. In the realm of communication, we find the scripts and strategies of manipulation, where words, gestures, and silence all play parts in a performance designed to steer perceptions and actions. The study of rhetoric, persuasive techniques, and media influence reveals the language of manipulation, clarifying how the spoken and unspoken can subtly, yet powerfully modify behavior. Recognizing these patterns arms us with the discernment necessary to distinguish genuine communication from manipulative discourse. Synthesizing knowledge from these fields inspires a holistic understanding that extends beyond academic curiosity. It empowers personal autonomy. Grappling with manipulation's multifaceted nature is not merely an intellectual exercise. It's an essential life skill in a world where influence tactics pervade everyday interactions. Cultivating this understanding enables us to appreciate the complexity of human behavior and the subtle forces that shape our society. It is this synthesis of knowledge that holds the potential to cultivate an informed populace, one that can navigate the treacherous waters of manipulation with eyes wide open. By appreciating the interplay between these disciplines, one gains not only insight, but also the strength to stand firm amidst the currents of influence. With these tools, every individual can erect a bastion of personal integrity against the tide of manipulation. The analysis and reflections presented herein encourage the reader to examine personal values and beliefs. By introspecting on our individual experiences with manipulation, we can better understand its societal implications and our own roles within it. We emerge from this chapter not only more informed, but also more equipped to foster genuine connections, build healthier communities, and ultimately craft a more equitable society. Exploring different perspectives on manipulation. When peering into the human psyche, psychologists dissect manipulation by examining how it warps our cognitive processes. Like a potter shaping clay, manipulators can mold beliefs and behaviors by exploiting cognitive biases. Through the lens of psychology, manipulation emerges as a mind game, where the manipulator leverages psychological principles like the reciprocity norm or scarcity principle to elicit certain responses. Informational conformity, for instance, where we rely on others to understand reality, can be a playfield for manipulation, leading us to adopt views that seem popular rather than accurate. On a broader stage, beyond the confines of individual minds, sociologists view manipulation as a byproduct of the intricate dances within social power structures. Envision a grand theater where each social interaction is a scene. Characters enter and exit, wielding influence through subtle cues and overt directives. This sociological perspective scrutinizes how manipulation operates within societal hierarchies, groups, and institutions, revealing a constant tug-of-war for power, status, and control. The dynamics of persuasion and coercion become the essential choreography of this dance. Diving into communication theory, experts dissect manipulation as a strategic exchange of messages. It's akin to a chess game. Each participant maneuvers their pawns and knights with intent and foresight, attempting to sway the game in their favor without overtly revealing their hand. Here, the focus is on the manipulation of language and how it is used to shape perceptions, control narratives, and influence decisions. Each of these disciplines contributes a unique piece to the puzzle, shedding light on various facets of manipulation. Psychology digs into the mind's vulnerabilities, sociology exposes the leverage within social frameworks, and communication studies unravel the power of the spoken and written word. Together, they form an interdisciplinary mosaic, offering a deeper understanding of the multifaceted nature of manipulation. A holistic view on manipulation reveals it as a tapestry woven from human behavior, social structure, and communication patterns. Weaving a tapestry of understanding. To comprehend manipulation fully, it is critical to weave together strands of knowledge from disparate fields. Only then can we see the grand design, the complete image, beyond the isolated threads. Each discipline, with its distinct terminology and methodologies, adds depth to our understanding, just as varied hues and textures add richness to a fabric. The kaleidoscope of insights from psychology, sociology, and communication theory blend to form a composite view, illuminating the subtle intricacies of manipulative tactics. Imagine a quilt, each patch representing a distinct field of study. Psychology provides patches embroidered with the intricacies of human thought and behavior. Sociology contributes pieces patterned with networked individuals and power dynamics. Communication theory stitches in swatches illustrating the complexities of language and messaging. When these patches are stitched together, they form a quilt that warms and protects against the chill of manipulation. Synthesis is key. By integrating psychological theories on cognitive biases and behavioral influence with sociological analyses of group dynamics and communication models of message framing, one begins to develop a multidisciplinary framework. This wholeness is akin to a juggler seamlessly keeping different balls in the air. It takes practice, coordination, and effort to ensure not a single perspective falls by the wayside. A step-by-step process to synthesize can involve identifying overlapping concepts and divergent ideas, comparing their implications, and constructing an overarching paradigm that accommodates all. It's like building a bridge that connects islands of thought, making sure that each board and cable, the insights from each field, supports the passage to a well-rounded understanding. Synthesizing knowledge from various disciplines is like assembling a puzzle. Each piece is crucial to see the entire picture clearly. Appreciating the complex impacts of manipulative behavior. The implications of manipulative behavior ripple through society like waves from a stone tossed into a pond, affecting individuals, relationships, and communities. Psychologists acknowledge that manipulation can erode trust, distort perceptions, and inflict emotional turmoil, which stunts personal growth. It can act like a shadow that looms over one's mental landscape, dimming the light of autonomy and clouding one's judgment. Zooming out, we see these psychological impacts magnified across the social tapestry. Manipulation can weave patterns of inequality, reinforce stereotypes, or enable a culture of coercion. Societally, it has the power to influence the outcome of events from minor misunderstandings to seismic shifts in governance. It's the hidden undercurrent that can steer the course of history itself. Acknowledging these realities helps foster a deeper societal consciousness. By recognizing and understanding these complexities, individuals can foster communities that value transparency and equity. The key lies in elevating public discourse and striving for ethical interactions that empower rather than exploit. One metaphor that succinctly captures this notion is that of a kaleidoscope. Just as a twist of the kaleidoscope transforms the pattern seen within, appreciating the intricacies of manipulative tactics can shift our collective perspective, leading us toward a more authentic and less manipulable society. By examining manipulation through a multidisciplinary lens, we appreciate its psychological shadows, sociological patterns, and communicative signals, paving the way for a more empowered and equitable society. Embracing the spectrum of understanding. As we journey through the multidisciplinary landscape of manipulation, we delve into the intricate web of psychological, sociological, and communicative perspectives. Each perspective unfurled a distinctive layer of insight, shedding light on the various facets of manipulation. Cognitive biases revealed how our minds can be subtly swayed, power dynamics illuminated the struggle for control in relationships, and persuasive strategies showcased the art of influence in communication. The mosaic of insight. By synthesizing these diverse perspectives, we stitched together a vibrant tapestry of knowledge that offered a holistic understanding of manipulation. Like pieces of a puzzle coming together, the blend of psychological, sociological, and communicative insights provided us with a richer, more comprehensive view of this complex phenomenon. Through this amalgamation, we gained a nuanced awareness of how manipulation operates in our lives and society. Navigating the terrain ahead. As we stand at the crossroads of complexities and implications regarding manipulative behavior, we are challenged to reflect deeply on our own roles and interactions. Each encounter with manipulation serves as a mirror, reflecting back not only the tactics used by others, but also our own vulnerabilities and blind spots. It is in this introspective space that we can begin to cultivate a heightened sense of awareness and empower ourselves to navigate the terrain of manipulation with clarity and fortitude. In the chapters that follow, we will continue to peel back the layers of manipulation, exploring strategies for detection, defense, and ultimately, empowerment. Let us carry forward the mosaic of insights we have gathered, using them as beacons to illuminate the shadows where manipulation thrives. Through understanding, vigilance, and self-awareness, we can equip ourselves with the tools needed to uncover the hidden strings and reclaim our autonomy. Chapter 4. The Heart's Armor. Cultivating Emotional Intelligence. The art of manipulation, like everything else, must be developed by practice and experience. Daniel Greenberg. Outside, the rough whistles of the midday wind played with the chimes hanging on Claire's front porch. Inside, she sat at an old wooden table scarred by time and steaming tea. She tilted her head, eyes tracing the smoke as it danced upward, caught in a column of light that spilled through the kitchen window. Her mind was elsewhere, wrestling with the specters of her own emotions. The silence in the kitchen was broken by a sharp ring from her phone. A message from her brother James, asking if she'd be attending their mother's birthday dinner. A simple question under different circumstances, but with their mother's turning of moods and manipulative undertones, each family gathering was a chess match where Claire felt perpetually in check. Once she had marveled at her mother's capacity for subtlety, the persuasion dressed as concern. Now that marvel curdled into a weary resignation of bracing herself against a storm. Memories washed over her, words that twisted like knives and smiles that hid traps as her mother swayed opinion with poisonous grace. Claire had long learned to love her from a distance, protecting her spirit from the corrosion of her mother's influence. She recognized this manipulation, the subtle coercive tone that had once steered her decisions far from the shore she sought. Flashes of insight came to her as she contemplated her response. Emotion swelled, tightened her chest, pulled at the edges of her resolve. But she had studied this craft, not the art of manipulation, but of resilience. She understood the link between her emotions and the seas they sailed on, saw the tempests in others, and learned to steer clear. She needed to respond not just with her heart, which bore the weeping sores of old skirmishes, but with her whole being, anchored in assertiveness. Her thoughts were interrupted as her cat, Jasper, leaped onto the table, a soft thud. He nudged his head against her hand, seeking attention. She looked into his clear green eyes and found a comfort there, a simplicity in his affection that held no deceit. There was a strength in that purity, she realized, something raw and untouched by the complex human dance of manipulation. Jasper purred content as she scratched behind his ears, a moment of calm amid her perturbed thoughts. She had learned empathy, not as a weapon like her mother wielded, but as a shield, a way to understand the currents of others' emotions without being swept away by them. It was this empathy that could unravel the tight knots of manipulation, could see the yearning behind the words meant to cage her spirit. Claire finally keyed in a brief reply to James, a neutral, yet politely distant affirmation of her attendance. She placed her phone down and felt the afternoon sun warm her skin, causing the lingering clouds of doubt to scatter. She emerged from beneath the weight of past expectations and into the clarity of her own authority. There, in the blend of light and shadow, she remained. How would she harness this newfound strength to combat the undercurrents of the upcoming dinner? How could the empathy she practiced shield her from the emotional barbs that were sure to come? And could her growing emotional intelligence reveal a path not just to withstand, but to also mend the fractures manipulation had wrought in her family? The alchemy of emotional fortitude. Emotional intelligence is more than just a buzzword. It's the armor we don when we navigate the battleground of human interaction, where manipulation often lies in ambush. In a world where hidden agendas skulk behind pleasantries, understanding emotions, our own and those of others, becomes just not necessary, but imperative. Emotions, in their rawest form, are not just felt, but often used as puppets by those skilled in the stagecraft of manipulation. Here, we delve into the intricacies of the heart's armor, emotional intelligence, an armor that is both shield and compass in the art of interpersonal warfare. To recognize the subtle threads of manipulation that entangle our daily lives, we must first turn inward. It is in enhancing our self-awareness that we uncover the nuances of our emotional responses, the patterns that betray our weaknesses to the puppeteer's touch. Amidst this self-reflection lies the potential to disrupt the very cycle of manipulation. By seeing through it, we reclaim a sense of autonomy that is uniquely our own. However, mere awareness does not suffice in the persistent tides of coercion. Emotional regulation serves as the next critical juncture, acting as the steadying force that keeps us afloat in challenging tides. With improved regulation, we not only weather the storm of manipulation, but also navigate assertively through the deceits that seek to undermine us. By controlling the sails of our emotional ship, we dictate our course, refusing to be swayed by the winds of coercion. Empathy, though seemingly counterintuitive, is a powerful ally in this quest. Far from making us more susceptible, empathy strengthens our defenses. It enables us to discern genuine emotion from the facades and connect with others on a plane that is devoid of deceit. Empathy equips us with the insight to anticipate the moves of would-be manipulators, fortifying our resilience with understanding and compassion. In mastering these facets of emotional intelligence, self-awareness, emotional regulation, assertiveness, and empathy, we do not merely construct barriers against manipulation. We foster a transformative power that carves paths towards deeper connections, trustworthy interactions, and the unyielding autonomy of our emotional selves. Blueprint for emotional agility. The process that follows is not just a roadmap, but an odyssey, an exploration of self that simultaneously builds a fortress against manipulation. Guided by your inner compass, you'll navigate through your emotional spectrum and emerge not merely unscathed, but with a newfound mastery over your heart's domain. Step 1. Enhancing self-awareness. Unearth the origins of your emotional responses by dedicating time to introspection. With mindfulness as your tool, excavate past instances where manipulation's shadow may have crossed your path. Vigilantly monitor your feelings and responses, pinpointing patterns that signal your vulnerabilities. Dispatch these observations to the pages of a journal, creating a robust repository of self-knowledge. Anticipated time frame. This introspective journey is ongoing, but begin with dedicated sessions of 15 to 20 minutes daily for 2 weeks to set the foundation. Step 2. Improving emotional regulation. Embrace techniques that mold your emotional responses into a wellspring of strength. Techniques like deep breathing and meditation can serve as anchors in your emotional storm. Pinpoint the triggers that breach your calm and devise strategic countermeasures. If regulation proves elusive, seek out the skilled hands of a therapist to guide you toward emotional steadiness. Anticipated time frame. Practice daily for a month, integrating techniques into your routine and evaluating progress weekly. Step 3. Assertiveness training. Ignite the spirit of assertiveness by speaking your truth with confidence and consideration. Commence with the small skirmishes of daily discourse, gradually ascending to larger arenas. Enlist a confidant to spar with through role play, refining your ability to defend your boundaries against intrusion with poise and respect. Anticipated time frame. Integrate into daily interactions immediately, seeking larger opportunities as your confidence builds over the course of several weeks. Step 4. Building empathy. Craft your empathy by immersing yourself in the emotional world of others. Engage in the art of active listening, thereby honing your skill to differentiate genuine sentiments from manipulative guises. In your quest to cultivate empathy, let compassion for others be the brush that paints your world in more authentic hues. Anticipated time frame. Commit to daily practice, focusing on at least one deep conversation each day, with continuous reflection and adjustment. Step 5. Seek support. Garner strength through the camaraderie of those who sustain you. Unveil your vulnerabilities in their presence, accepting varied perspectives and wisdom. Forge alliances in group settings dedicated to the virtues of emotional intelligence and assertiveness. Anticipated time frame. Create a support network early in your journey, ensuring ongoing engagement and regular check-ins. The culmination of your journey is not marked by a singular victory, but by the continuous growth of your emotional intelligence. Success is to move through life's manipulative strings with the grace of a dancer, unbound and authentic. It is the freedom that comes with knowing that your heart's armor is impregnable, and the strings no longer bind you. Enhancing self-awareness, the mirror of the mind. In order to ward off emotional manipulation, one must first sharpen self-awareness, much like a detective polishes a magnifying glass, ensuring no clue, no matter how delicate or concealed, goes unnoticed. One's emotions can often act as a concealed puppeteer, tugging on the strings of reaction without conscious permission. Recognizing the ways in which emotions influence thoughts and actions is the bedrock of self-awareness. But to truly understand self-awareness, imagine it as an inner compass, and with it, you navigate the vast ocean of your emotional landscape. Without this guidance, one might sail straight into the storm of manipulation, unprepared for the hidden reefs of coercion lurking beneath the surface. It requires a persistent calibration of this compass, a daily tuning into feelings, body signals, and the narrative spun in the mind. It's simple yet profound. By paying close attention to the emotional responses prompted by various experiences and interactions, individuals become skilled in deciphering the atlas of their inner domain. Monitoring and reflecting on these responses, especially in moments of conflict or decision-making, can shine a beacon on potential manipulation. This vigilance transforms the murky waters of deception into a clear stream where the true intentions of others become visible. Maintaining self-awareness is an ongoing practice, much akin to daily exercise. Just as muscles grow with consistent repetition, the skill of recognizing and understanding one's own emotional responses to manipulation strengthens over time. Daily self-reflection is vital. One might journal each day's emotional voyage, noting when and where external influences attempted to steer the course and how effectively the helm was held. Enhancing self-awareness is your first defense against emotional manipulation, turning inward to illuminate the shadows where manipulative tactics might linger. The Tapestry of Emotional Mastery. A Guide to Fortifying the Self. Step 1. Enhancing self-awareness. Harnessing self-awareness begins with an honest inward gaze. Past experiences with manipulation often leave behind strands of knowledge, invisible until closely examined. Engaging in introspection isn't merely navel-gazing. It's like being an emotional archaeologist, gently brushing away layers of sediment to reveal the artifacts of personal history. Each relationship and encounter might contain hidden lessons about vulnerability and the susceptibility to manipulation. Recognizing and recording the ebb and flow of emotions against specific triggers is like mapping out the constellations in a night sky. This awareness acts as a personal navigation system, revealing when one might be more prone to manipulation's gravity. One has to engage in the art of mindfulness, treating each thought and feeling as a guest in the home of your mind, welcomed in, acknowledged, and then graciously shown the door. A journal acts as the vessel for these insights, capturing patterns like a photograph captures light and shadow. This personal narrative is a fundamental tool in disrupting the cycle of emotional manipulation. Step 2. Improving emotional regulation. Emotional regulation is learning to ride the waves rather than being tossed about by each swell. Techniques like mindful breathing or meditation are like learning to swim. They keep you buoyant amidst the emotional undercurrents. Joyful activities are your life preservers in moments the sea seems too rough. Triggers, those hidden shoals, can cause sudden storms of emotion. Understanding them is akin to charting a safe passage. When criticism casts dark clouds overhead, reframing the moment disperses them, allowing sunlight to break through. If managing emotions feels as though you're battling the tide, seeking guidance from a therapist or counselor is akin to calling in a seasoned sailor for support. Step 3. Assertiveness training. Assertiveness isn't about conquest, it's about communication. Articulating thoughts and boundaries clearly is less about raising sails and more about sending clear signals across the water. With practice, a strong voice can steady even the most tempestuous negotiations. Role-playing various situations with a trusted ally isn't just rehearsal. It's crafting the armor that will protect you in the moments that matter. Step 4. Building empathy. To fend off manipulation, empathy is your northern star, guiding you to understand the feelings and motives of others. This bright beacon provides a broader vista, illuminating the deceptive tactics used against you. Engaging in active listening isn't just hearing, but also seeing from another's perspective. By embracing empathy, one builds not walls but bridges, fostering connections that cantilever over the pitfalls of manipulation. Step 5. Seek support. No one sails their ship alone. A supportive crew provides strength in numbers, sharing the burden of the journey. Honest feedback and shared experiences are the echoing calls of lighthouses, warning against dangers ahead. Support groups and therapy collectives are like flotillas of wisdom that you sail alongside, each vessel brimming with resources to share. The goal of this tapestry of steps is not just to repel manipulation, but to become the master of one's emotional seascape. Each step is a woven thread, contributing to a greater design of emotional resilience. As the days pass, one can adjust the sails, review the charts, and strengthen the ship. Victory is not found in a single battle, but in the enduring peace that comes with knowing the waters well. Success manifests as a firm command over oneself, a ship that no ill wind can topple. How might your voyage change once mastery over these waves of emotion is achieved? The shield of empathy. To strengthen resilience against manipulation, one must build a fortress of empathy, brick by empathic brick. In a world that often values personal gain over communal harmony, this citadel offers sanctuary. Empathy enables a profound connection to others' emotions, their pain, joy, and fear. It's the understanding that just as rain nourishes the earth, shared feelings can nourish human connections. Imagine empathy as a lens, one that does not distort but clarifies. Through it, the actions of others are seen in true color and context. Suppose manipulation is the disguise worn by some to further their aims. In that case, empathy reveals the individual behind the mask, understanding their motives while not falling prey to their deception. Developing that emotional acuity requires one to take time for self-reflection. One has to pay attention to personal responses and be mindful of the emotions that surface. Recording these in a journal acts as a reflective shield, deflecting manipulative arrows and turning them into opportunities for growth. The journey to regulate emotions is a process of tempering steel. Through heat and pressure, one's emotional resilience is forged. Techniques such as deep breathing or meditation smooth out the sharp edges of reaction, making space for thought and consideration. Assertiveness is not aggression. It's the armor worn in daily interactions, allowing for protection and the expression of one's true self. With practice, this armor becomes second nature, a silent guardian against the encroachment of manipulative tactics. Empathy is the culminating stone of defense. It offers a vantage point high upon the fortress walls. Through active listening and compassion, one can survey the emotional landscape with precision, identifying friends and foes alike. To strengthen this bastion, one must surround oneself with allies, friends, family, and mentors who reinforce the walls with support and wisdom. Sharing experiences with these trusted confidants provides perspective, much like scouts reporting on the terrain ahead. By enhancing self-awareness, regulating emotions, asserting one's voice, building empathy, and seeking support, individuals construct an impenetrable defense against manipulative forces, preserving their autonomy with the strength of their emotional intelligence. Taking control of emotional intelligence. As you conclude this chapter on cultivating emotional intelligence to defend against manipulation, remember that the journey of self-discovery and empowerment is ongoing. Enhancing self-awareness is the foundation upon which your defenses against manipulation are built. By recognizing your own emotions and understanding how they can be influenced, you create a shield that deflects coercive tactics. Improving emotional regulation and assertiveness bolsters this shield, allowing you to respond to manipulation attempts with clarity and strength. It is in these moments of emotional turbulence that your newfound skills will shine the brightest, guiding your reactions towards resilience and autonomy. Strengthening empathy completes the trio of defenses, providing a deep understanding of others' emotions without sacrificing your own well-being. By walking in the shoes of others with empathy, you construct bridges of understanding while fortifying your boundaries against manipulation attempts. The art of emotional intelligence is not a fixed destination, but a dynamic process of growth and learning. It is a journey that intertwines with your daily interactions, shaping your responses and decisions towards autonomy and authenticity. As you continue on this path, remember that every challenge is an opportunity for growth, every interaction a lesson in resilience. Embrace the power of emotional intelligence as your armor against manipulation, for within its folds lies the strength of self-awareness, the shield of emotional regulation, and the sword of empathy. These tools shall guide you through the labyrinth of manipulation, helping you emerge on the other side not as a victim, but as a master of your own destiny. In the realm of emotional intelligence, you hold the key to deciphering hidden intentions and navigating through the maze of manipulative tactics. Let these skills be your guiding light, illuminating the path towards a life filled with autonomy, authenticity, and resilience. Chapter 5. The Shield of Reason. Building critical thinking skills. The basic tool for the manipulation of reality is the manipulation of words. If you can control the meaning of words, you can control the people who must use them. Philip K. Dick. In the small hours of a crisp spring morning, as the stubborn dew clung to the blades of grass, Morgan sat on the porch of a rural Pennsylvanian farmhouse. A thin mist hung over the fields like a shroud, veiling the world in a soft, pearly glow. With a steaming mug of coffee warming their hands, they contemplated the events of the previous week, events that compelled a stirring within to question the very fabric of their reality. Morgan's sibling, Alex, had been enamored with the eloquence and promises of a new political candidate. This candidate spoke with a rhythmic cadence that could soothe even the most unsettled mind. And yet, invisible beneath the polished veneer laid a net of logical fallacies and persuasive ploys, entangling the unwary. Morgan recalled the fervent conversation by the fireside where Alex recited arguments laced with emotion, impassioned yet devoid of substance. The air was brisk and carried the scent of soil and rebirth, a contrast to the stagnancy Morgan felt when trying to navigate the fine line between influence and manipulation. They were determined to sharpen their mind against the whetstone of critical thought, to identify the deceit woven through the charismatic assault on Alex's judgment. A chorus of tweets rose from the thicket nearby, nature's own debate unfurling without guile. Their memory drifted to their grandmother, a woman of sharp intellect and unyielding skepticism, who would dissect speeches and articles with the precision of a surgeon. "Question everything," she had advised. Morgan felt her presence as they watched the steam from their coffee waltz with the cool air. They knew that decision-making was a delicate dance, one that required awareness of the subtlest lead. It was an idyllic scene, this dawning day with life awakening in every corner, but for Morgan, it was no longer a retreat, but a battleground within their own mind. How could one drink from the well of knowledge, yet not be poisoned by cunning subterfuge? The trap was set with comforting lies, and truth was the only key to unlock the jaws. As they took a sip, the bitter coffee energized not just their body, but also their resolve. Morgan would have to face their sibling again, to discuss, debate, and hopefully illuminate the trappings that clouded Alex's reason. Would the strength of their evidence and the clarity of their thoughts be enough to penetrate the fortress of deception Alex had been lured into? Could they ever make Alex see the subtle shadows lurking behind the luminous facade of the candidate's charm, or would the allure prove too seductive? Why does the truth, however unvarnished, often shine less brilliantly than a well-crafted lie? The armor of discernment. In an age saturated with information, the ability to sift through the noise and identify what is genuine from what is manipulative has never been more crucial. The development of critical thinking skills constitutes the very fabric of our mental armor, allowing us to question, evaluate, and reason, free from the strings of manipulation that seek to puppeteer our choices and beliefs. It is through these rigorous mental processes that we affirm our autonomy and empower our decision-making, transforming ourselves from passive recipients of information into active, discerning participants in our own lives. To navigate the labyrinth of modern communication, one must hone the tools of logic and rationality. A sharp mind can discern the subtle difference between genuine, evidence-based persuasion and the shadowy tactics of manipulation dressed in the guise of truth. This is not merely an intellectual exercise. It is a practical skill set critical for anyone who treasures personal freedom and sound judgment. Learning how to develop analytical skills to question assumptions, identify logical fallacies, and apply critical thinking in every facet of life stands at the heart of intellectual self-defense. As we delve into the mechanisms of reflection and analysis, the journey requires a shift in personal perspective. One must remain ever vigilant to personal biases and ready to adjust held beliefs in the light of new, compelling evidence. This calls for an intellectual humility that can be uncomfortable, yet is necessary for growth. It is here that our convictions are tested and our ideologies honed, not to shatter our worldview, but to reinforce its foundations with the bedrock of reason. In this pursuit, one must learn to distinguish fact from fiction, and here, evidence often speaks louder than words. Whether poring over news articles, academic studies, or the influx of data from our digital world, the evaluation of evidence is paramount. Recognizing the credibility of sources and verifying facts becomes second nature, for in this due diligence lies the bulwark against deceit. Understanding and spotting deceptive tactics entails familiarizing oneself with the landscape of logical fallacies, those treacherous pitfalls within arguments that can lead us astray. Mastery over these elusive errors equips us to navigate discourse with precision and to articulate our thoughts with clarity devoid of distortion. It is akin to learning the language of logic, a dialect spoken in the realm of reasoned debate and informed decision-making. The art of decision-making itself requires a fine balance, weighing options with mindfulness, acknowledging our cognitive biases and the influence these have on our choices, and embracing a deliberative approach to our conclusions. Good decisions are not made in a vacuum, but in the context of well-considered information and self-awareness. This becomes a reflective practice, a continuous loop of action and feedback that shapes the contours of our judgment over time. Crafting the mind's keystone, a process to fortify your thinking. Step 1. Questioning assumptions. Begin by examining the preconceived notions you consider true without question. Confront these by contemplating, where does the support for this belief come from? Incorporate different viewpoints and challenge the prejudices that may cloud your perspective. Embrace the possibility of change in your mindset when new truths emerge from the fog of uncertainty. Step 2. Evaluating evidence. Refine your ability to scrutinize information, discerning the credible from the questionable. Elevate your understanding of methodologies behind research. This knowledge is power in the realm of evidence appraisal. Make fact-checking a reflex action before accepting any assertion as truth, always corroborating with trustworthy sources to confirm authenticity. Step 3. Identifying logical fallacies. Acquaint yourself with the treacherous terrain of logical fallacies. Recognizing these deceptive patterns in discourse, be it spoken or written, is akin to uncovering hidden traps on your path to truth. Deconstruct arguments meticulously, seeking the presence of these reasoning errors, thus purifying your intake of information. Step 4. Enhancing decision-making skills. Decision-making is an art refined by understanding your own cognitive biases and mental shortcuts. Make choices with full consciousness, considering all the elements at play, and always reflecting on the outcomes of your decisions to refine your judgmental accuracy. Step 5. Applying critical thinking in everyday life. Embrace critical thinking as your constant companion, in the journey through daily life. Whether assessing a political statement, digesting news, or dissecting marketing ploys, exercise your sharpened faculties. Regularly confront and evaluate your own beliefs. Growth lies in the consistent questioning and rebuilding of your understanding. Through this process, you will engage with the complexity of thought and how it bears on your values and decisions. Imbue yourself with the wisdom of critical thinking and thrive in autonomy, unshackled from the threads of manipulation. As you journey through this transformative process, it not only equips you with the analytical tools necessary for clear thinking, but it also instills a sense of empowerment, opening the door to a world where informed choice reigns supreme. Developing analytical armor. Most of us swim in a sea of information, where assumptions are the waves that carry us. They form the backbone of our everyday thinking, often going unquestioned as they blend seamlessly into our internal narrative. To develop analytical skills, we must learn to question these invisible currents. Start by considering the waves themselves. Why are they present, and what shapes them? Imagine you're a detective sifting through pieces of evidence. Some bits fit neatly into the puzzle, while others seem out of place. This is akin to evaluating information, examining each piece, questioning its source and its relevance. Training ourselves to discern the quality of evidence is like honing the detective's eye. It helps to paint a clearer picture of reality from the fragmented clues. If a detective clung to their first hunch without question, many mysteries would go unsolved. Similarly, we should resist the urge to accept the first piece of information that comes our way. To question assumptions, we must adopt a healthy skepticism, recognizing that our initial perspective is just a starting point ripe for investigation. It involves looking at the information we hold and asking, what supports this? Could I be missing something? Metaphorically speaking, evaluating evidence is like trying to assemble a jigsaw puzzle. Just as we wouldn't force a piece into a spot where it doesn't fit, we shouldn't accept evidence that doesn't align with the broader picture. Analytical skills involve examining each piece, its edges, its patterns, and ferreting out the truth, even when it is concealed in a pile of distractions. Developing analytical skills is akin to refining the lenses through which we view the world, helping to bring the truth into sharper focus. The process of parsing persuasion, dissecting the deceptive. Step 1. Questioning assumptions. Questioning assumptions begins with identifying the beliefs that serve as the foundation of our thoughts. We might consider the assumption that experts are always right and ask ourselves, what evidence do I have to support this? To broaden our perspective, seeking out diverse viewpoints is crucial. Engaging in discussions that present counterarguments nourishes our intellectual humility, granting us the adaptability to shift our stance when facts and logic so dictate. Step 2. Evaluating evidence. To evaluate evidence, we turn critical eyes to both source and substance. Learning about research methodology helps in assessing the reliability of studies. It's like distinguishing between hearsay and testimony in court. Both are statements, but one is substantiated. Practice fact-checking as a ritual, starting with the resources available at your fingertips, and embrace the due diligence of verification as part of your cognitive toolkit. Step 3. Identifying logical fallacies. Identifying logical fallacies requires familiarity with deceptive tactics. Fallacies are like mirages in argumentation, appearing substantive but evaporating under scrutiny. By learning the names and natures of these tricks, a straw man here, a slippery slope there, we sharpen our ability to see through the illusions. Picking them apart becomes a mental exercise in separating sound arguments from intellectual sleight of hand. Step 4. Enhancing decision-making skills. For enhancing decision-making skills, it's important to understand and recognize our biases. Imagine your thought process as a compass. Biases are magnetic fields that can misdirect its needle. Conscious decision-making involves calibrating that compass by being aware of potential influences and compensating for them. Likewise, seeking feedback on our decisions opens up pathways to reflection and growth. Step 5. Applying critical thinking in everyday life. In applying critical thinking to daily life, we move beyond the theoretical and into the practical arena. Beyond the pages of a book or the classroom's discussions, critical thinking is the tool we wield in evaluating the veracity of advertisements, the substance in political promises, and the dependability of news. Like a muscle, the more we exercise it, by challenging personal convictions and confronting our assumptions, the more robust it becomes. Could recognizing and navigating the influence of manipulative arguments be the empowerment you never knew you needed? Autonomy through analytic acumen. Applying critical thinking liberates us from the shackles of unexamined beliefs and manipulated decisions. It is the art of standing firm in the face of appealing but flawed arguments, like a tree with deep roots withstand storms that topple those with only surface tendrils. Step 1. Questioning assumptions. Questioning commonly held assumptions is the inception point of critical thinking. To see if an assumption is rooted in truth or mere convention, ask for evidence and entertain dissenting voices. Just as a gardener prunes dead branches to promote healthy growth, intellectual humility allows us to discard outdated beliefs and blossom in understanding. Step 2. Evaluating evidence. As we evaluate evidence, we become sifters of truth amid the noise. Learning to identify trustworthy sources from the unreliable is an essential skill. Like a discerning collector knows a forgery from an original, you learn to see the authentic amidst replicas by examining the brushstrokes of reality with a critical eye. Step 3. Identifying logical fallacies. Recognizing logical fallacies is akin to spotting wolves in sheep's clothing. They masquerade as sound reasoning, but reveal themselves as flawed upon closer examination. By training your mind to suss out these deceptive tactics, you build defenses against being swayed by arguments that only hold the illusion of legitimacy. Step 4. Enhancing decision-making skills. Your decision-making ability hinges on recognizing the internal compass that often unconsciously guides you, your biases and heuristics. By consciously navigating these influences, informed and deliberate choices emerge. Seeking external feedback further refines this process, acting as the polishing grindstone to the blade of your decisions. Step 5. Applying critical thinking in everyday life. In harnessing critical thinking daily, we consistently use this mental machinery to break down arguments, assess claims, and make choices that align with our values and knowledge. It is not an intermittent tool to be picked up and put down, but a lens through which we examine all facets of life, the wellspring from which our decisions and beliefs should flow. The weave of these skills forms a fabric of autonomy, empowering us by giving each thread of evidence and assumption its due scrutiny. Embrace the shield of reason. As you conclude this journey through the realm of critical thinking, remember that the shield of reason is your most potent weapon against manipulation and deceit. By honing your analytical skills, you equip yourself with the power to question assumptions, evaluate evidence, and navigate the intricate web of persuasive tactics that seek to sway your decisions. In mastering the art of critical thinking, you not only fortify your defenses against manipulation, but also nurture a deeper sense of autonomy and self-reliance. Nurture your analytical skills. Every assumption questioned is a step towards unveiling the truth. As you cultivate your ability to critically analyze information and discern between fact and fiction, you empower yourself to see through the veils of deception that often cloak manipulative messages. Challenge what you are told, scrutinize the evidence presented, and seek the underlying motives behind persuasive appeals. Unmask fallacies and deceptive arguments. Within the intricate tapestry of communication lies a minefield of fallacies waiting to be uncovered. Your newfound knowledge of logical loopholes and manipulative tactics is your compass in this maze of deceit. Arm yourself with the ability to spot fallacies, identify deceptive arguments, and dismantle the cloak of manipulation that seeks to cloud your judgment. Empower your decision-making through critical thinking. The art of critical thinking is not merely a shield but a beacon, guiding you toward sound decisions and unwavering autonomy. By applying the principles of critical thinking to your daily life, you elevate your choices beyond mere reactions to calculated responses. Embrace the power of reason to navigate the complexities of influence, forge your path with clarity, and stand firm in your autonomy. Embark on your journey of self-discovery. As you tread the path towards mastering critical thinking, remember that this journey is not just about unraveling external influences, but also about delving into the depths of your own beliefs and values. By honing your critical thinking skills, you embark on a voyage of self-discovery, where each question posed and each fallacy unmasked sheds light on your inner landscape. Through introspection and reflection, you forge a stronger connection with your true self, empowering yourself to navigate the seas of manipulation with unwavering clarity and resolve. Chapter 6. Defining your territory. The power of boundaries. People tend to be generous when sharing their nonsense, fear, and ignorance. And while they seem quite eager to feed you their negativity, please remember that sometimes the diet we need to be on is a spiritual and emotional one. Be cautious with what you feed your mind and soul. Fuel yourself with positivity, and let that fuel propel you into positive action. Steve Maraboli. Sunlight threaded through the leaves, stippling the path before Nora as she navigated the park trails. The serene beauty offered a stark contrast to the tumult that roiled within her. Each step was a silent communication with the earth below, as if seeking grounds for the turmoil that chewed her conscience. Lyle had been persuasive, entrancing almost, with his silver-tongued promises and compelling gaze. He nudged the limits of their friendship, weighing her resolve with the gravity of his expectations. Her mind reeled with past concessions, understanding now they were the breadcrumbs leading to this impasse, the crumbled integrity of her self-delineated boundaries. The peals of laughter from children in the distance mingled with the twittering birds, pulling Nora momentarily from her introspection. She noticed a woman, firm yet gentle, telling her child that playtime was over, boundaries being established and respected even at such an elementary interaction. A longing for that straightforward clarity clenched Nora's heart. She knew she desired that in her relationships as well, to be as steadfast and assured as the mother she had just passed. A squirrel scuttled by, its sudden movement drawing her attention to a withered rose bush. The blooms, once vibrant, suffered from neglect. The gardener's boundary of care had not held, leaving the plants to fend for themselves against the elements. Was this how she left her own resilience, untended and vulnerable to encroachment? Nora seated herself on a nearby bench, the aged wood familiar under her touch, reliable in its sturdiness. The same could not be said for her encounters with Lyle. His wit had charmed her defenses, but like the invasive roots of a relentless vine, his influence was leaching into her domain, threatening her autonomy. Would she find her voice as soft as the breeze, yet as unyielding as the oak that sheltered her now? Could she establish a frontier of self, immutable to manipulation, a testament to her value and worth? Her gaze lifted to the branches overhead, a lattice of green against the azure sky, and she pondered, what might life be if each of us held an unspoken respect for the boundaries of those around us? Erecting the shield of self-definition. The fabric of human interaction is delicately interwoven with the threads of influence, some benign, others manipulative. Grasping the reins of personal agency in a world rife with subtle control requires a clear demarcation of where one's influence ends and another's begins. Within this line lies the power of boundaries, the bedrock of autonomy and a bulwark against the erosive tide of manipulation. In the dance of human relationships, establishing and maintaining boundaries is not about building walls, but about drawing lines in the sand that signal to others where the ocean of one's tolerance and personal space ebbs and flows. Boundaries are the language through which we communicate our self-worth and expectations to the world. These unseen barriers serve as both shields and signals, protecting our inner worlds while informing others of our limits. Setting clear boundaries is akin to setting the rules of engagement, It is a declaration of self-respect and a preventive measure against the undue influence of manipulators. As one navigates through life's interactions, boundaries are the compass by which one can steer clear of the siren's call of exploitation, ensuring that one's journey is of their own charting. At the heart of boundary setting lies the balanced art of assertiveness, expressing one's needs and limits clearly, calmly, and without apology. It is neither aggression nor submission. It is the middle path of self-assured clarity. The art of forging these protective boundaries is as much about knowing oneself as it is about understanding human nature. In mastering this craft, one gains not only the ability to detect when lines have been crossed, but also the finesse to do so with respect and empathy. Respecting the boundaries of others is a reciprocal dynamic that invites trust and cooperation. It acknowledges that the autonomy we cherish for ourselves is inherently valuable in others as well. Respecting boundaries builds bridges of understanding and fosters environments where manipulation finds no purchase. It is this mutual regard that sows the seeds of healthy relationships, where manipulation withers in the light of transparent communication and shared respect. The journey of establishing one's boundaries is a continuous process of self-discovery and affirmation. This path of empowerment can be transformative, not only for oneself, but also for the world around, creating a ripple effect of awareness and consideration. Educating others on the importance of these limits enriches not only individual lives, but also the collective ethos of communities and societies. Fortify your well-being. A 5-step process to boundary mastery. Step 1. Understanding the role of boundaries. Educating oneself on the function of personal boundaries is the first stride towards empowerment. Boundaries are not just safeguards, they are a declaration of self-understanding and self-worth. Reflecting on where one's boundaries lie and the historical context of their formation can yield profound insights. Recognize that boundaries come in various forms: physical, emotional, and intellectual, and each type fortifies a dimension of our well-being. Step 2. Developing strategies to assert boundaries. Crafting boundaries requires thoughtful articulation. Define specific safeguards for different scenarios, approach these definitions with precision, and communicate them with conviction. Practice the art of assertiveness, using I statements to express personal needs without encroaching on others. Consistency is crucial. Hold fast to your lines and kindly remind others when they stray too near. Step 3. Recognizing and respecting others' boundaries. Fostering respect for others' boundaries is as vital as asserting one's own. Develop an attentive ear to understand the limits others set, acknowledging their right to personal sovereignty. Engage in sincere dialogue, sharing and listening to boundary preferences to cultivate a fertile ground for trust to grow. Step 4. Handling boundary violations. Inevitably, boundaries will be tested. Having a strategy for gently but firmly defending your defined spaces is essential. Address violations with composure and seek support when needed. Use these transgressions as learning opportunities to reinforce your psychological defenses for future interactions. Step 5. Educating others on boundaries. Sharing experiences and insights on boundaries can enlighten those around you. Foster open discussions that advocate for the recognition and respect of limits within personal and professional circles. In educating others, one uplifts the entire community, making it a collective journey towards a more mindful and respectful existence. Through these steps, individuals build not only defenses against manipulation, but also strong foundations for healthy relationships. Engage in this process gradually, allocating the necessary time and reflection at each stage. Success arrives not as an event, but as the sustained practice of boundary mastery, resulting in mutual respect, improved well-being, and an unshakable sense of autonomy. Understanding the shields of autonomy. Establishing boundaries in our lives is akin to setting up a fence around a precious garden. You decide what and who gets in, filtering out unwelcome or harmful influences while nurturing growth within. Much like a garden's fence that keeps out pests and encroachers, personal boundaries protect our autonomy, our internal garden, from being trampled on by manipulative individuals. In relationships, boundaries act as the front lines of defense, delineating where our individuality begins and where it ends in relation to others. People with manipulative tendencies often seek to blur these lines. They may use guilt, flattery, or confusion as tools to push beyond your comfort zone, looking to mold your thoughts, feelings, and actions to their advantage. By testing and crossing the limits you've set, they create a dynamic where your needs are secondary to theirs. However, when we understand that boundaries are not only our right, but our responsibility, we can start to wield them effectively. Think of a tree standing firm in a field. Its roots provide stability and nutrition, while its trunk establishes its standing space. In human relationships, boundaries are the roots and trunk of self-respect and self-assertiveness. They hold us steady, nourished by self-care and respect for our needs and values. Without them, we are like a tree stripped of bark and roots, vulnerable to the whims of the environment, easily swayed and potentially toppled. Embedded within the concept of boundaries is the ability to say no, to dissent, and to choose divergent paths. It's crucial to recognize that saying no is not just a rejection, but an affirmation of self-worth. Whether it's declining an unreasonable request at work or resisting a friend's pressure to engage in uncomfortable activities, reinforcing your no bolsters a sense of individual agency and discourages manipulative behaviors. Having firm boundaries and articulating them clearly transforms abstract values into actions and decisions. It's not enough to believe in honesty, respect, or kindness. One must define what these principles look like in practice. What actions will you tolerate? What behaviors breach your code of conduct? It's in setting these standards that one's ethics become tangible shields against manipulation. Boundaries are the armor through which we affirm our autonomy and protect our personal well-being against manipulation. The Boundary Blueprint: Erecting Effective Barriers. Step 1. Understanding the role of boundaries. To defend against manipulation, we first need a solid grasp of why personal boundaries are crucial. Picture a house. Its walls and locked doors serve a purpose. Similarly, boundaries in our relationships help maintain a healthy space where respect and personal growth can flourish. Taking time to educate ourselves about the importance of boundary setting underscores our commitment to a manipulated-free life. Reflect on your past experiences, identifying moments where a lack of boundaries led to feeling taken advantage of, and commit to nurturing your well-being by establishing robust personal limits. Consider the various forms of boundaries: physical space, emotional distance, and intellectual privacy. Each plays a vital part in your overall health. Like the layers of an onion, every boundary layer protects the core, your authentic self. Step 2. Developing strategies to assert boundaries. Envision your life as a series of rooms, each requiring a unique key. Cultivate specific boundaries for these different rooms: work, relationships, personal time. Strong, well-defined boundaries communicate that you value yourself and expect respect. Fine-tune your assertiveness in articulating these limits. Use I statements that commence with your feelings and end with your expectations. I feel when. I would prefer. Consistency is your ally. Just as daily exercise strengthens the body, regular assertion of boundaries fortifies your autonomy. When resisted, view it as resistance training for your self-respect muscles, challenging but ultimately empowering. Step 3. Recognizing and respecting others' boundaries. Learning to see boundaries as mutual respect's informational signposts. Every person you meet has their invisible fences. Respect them as you would have them respect yours. Cultivate empathy and active listening. Doing so builds rapport and trust, which are the cornerstones of healthy, non-manipulative relationships. Engage in open, reciprocal exchanges about expectations and boundaries. Initiate conversations about limits without fear or reservation. There is strength in vulnerability, and there is security in shared clarity. Step 4. Handling boundary violations. If your boundaries are breached, don't shrink back. Stand firm and address the violation with assured calmness. If needed, remove yourself from the situation and lean on the support of trusted individuals. Reflect on these encounters, not as failures, but as experiences from which to learn and adapt your boundary setting practices. Step 5. Educating others on boundaries. Spread the wisdom of boundary setting to those in your circles. Advocate for open talks on the subject within your communities or workplaces. Educating others not only amplifies awareness, but also strengthens your environment's overall health. This step-by-step approach should be treated flexibly over several weeks or even months, enabling adaptation to different scenarios and individual growth. The process concludes successfully when we can witness respect for our boundaries naturally interwoven into daily life. What if asserting boundaries could become as natural as breathing, essential to your life, and unnoticed in its constancy? The dance of mutual respect. In much the same way that a choreographer sets the stage for a ballet, creating space for each dancer to move without collision, recognizing and respecting the boundaries of others orchestrates a harmonious interaction. Just as dancers must be aware of their movements and those of their counterparts, so must we be vigilant and considerate of the limits within which we and those around us operate. It's this mutual acknowledgement that builds the foundation for trust and reduces the likelihood of manipulation seeping into our relationships. Understanding the landscape of personal limits is a lifelong journey. We will continually encounter individuals with boundaries different from our own. Therein lies the beauty and complexity of human interaction. It is an ever-evolving tapestry woven from the threads of individual needs, experiences, and limits. Appreciating this diversity is key to enrichment and growth. Step 1. Understanding the role of boundaries. Knowledge is the seed from which understanding grows. Dive into learning about the significance of boundaries in fostering resilient, authentic relationships. This knowledge empowers you to not only set your own boundaries wisely, but also to discern the boundaries of others, enhancing your interactions and safeguarding against manipulative dynamics. Reflect on personal boundary missteps, both as the one overstepping and the one who has been encroached upon. This introspection is invaluable, offering insight into the boundaries you value and providing perspective on how to respect those of others. Step 2. Developing strategies to assert boundaries. Champion your limitations with clarity and assertiveness. Develop a toolbox of communicative strategies that underline your comfort zones authentically and comfortably. Let your I statements act as guides, not guards, inviting conversation rather than confrontation. Persist steadfastly with your boundaries during every tide of resistance. With each wave that attempts to erode them, reinforce and solidify your defenses. The force of your unwavering commitment will eventually lead others to understand and respect the borders you've drawn. Step 3. Recognizing and respecting others' boundaries. Forge empathy into the cornerstone of your interactions. By treating others' boundaries with the deference you desire for your own, you create a reciprocal bridge of understanding. Open, honest dialogue is the currency of this realm. Spend it generously to earn the treasure of mutual respect. Step 4. Handling boundary violations. Adopt a judicious, strategic approach when a line is crossed. Meet trespasses not with aggression, but with composed assertiveness and the support of allies when needed. Reflect and rebound from these experiences. They are but teaching moments in the grand class of life. Step 5. Educating others on boundaries. Inspire those around you by sharing insights on the vitality of boundaries. Ignite discussions that build a communal respect for limits. Be the advocate for boundary education, cultivating a community culture that values and upholds personal space and freedom. Take this thoughtful process in stride, allowing weeks or even months to integrate these lessons into your daily living. Measure success not just by your own reverence for boundaries, but by the seamless nature of mutual respect that prevails in your interactions. By honoring our boundaries and the boundaries of others, we create a realm of mutual respect that is both our fortress against manipulation and our bridge to sincere connection. Embracing personal empowerment. As you navigate the intricate dance of relationships, understanding the pivotal role of boundaries is key to safeguarding your sense of autonomy and well-being. Boundaries serve as the guardians of your personal space, delineating what is acceptable and what is not in your interactions with others. By defining your territory with clarity and conviction, you send a powerful message to the world, a message that declares your self-worth and demands respect. In the tapestry of human connections, asserting and enforcing boundaries is not an act of selfishness, rather it is an act of self-preservation. It is a declaration of your autonomy, a reaffirmation of your right to be treated with dignity and respect. Your boundaries are not walls that isolate you, but rather gates that filter and invite only that which aligns with your values and beliefs. Honoring mutual respect. In the intricate web of relationships, respecting the boundaries of others is as crucial as asserting your own. To honor the autonomy of those around you is a mark of true empathy and understanding. Just as you expect others to respect your limits, be mindful of the boundaries they have set forth. In practicing mutual respect, you cultivate an environment of trust and openness, laying the foundation for genuine and authentic connections. Remember, boundaries are not set in stone. They evolve and adapt as you grow and learn more about yourself. Stay attuned to your inner voice, continuously assessing and refining your boundaries to align with your values. By nurturing a healthy relationship with your boundaries, you pave the way for a more fulfilling and empowered existence. A journey of self-discovery. The journey of defining and defending your boundaries is a profound act of self-discovery and self-love. It is an exploration of your own worth, a demonstration of your commitment to upholding your integrity and well-being. By embracing the power of boundaries, you illuminate the path to authentic relationships built on respect and understanding. As you move forward, remember that your boundaries are a reflection of your inner strength and self-respect. Embrace the journey of setting boundaries not as a restriction, but as a liberation that allows you to navigate the world with clarity, confidence, and unwavering self-assurance. Chapter 7. Beyond Words. The impact of active listening. The individual has always had to struggle to keep from being overwhelmed by the tribe. If you try it, you will be lonely often and sometimes frightened. But no price is too high to pay for the privilege of owning yourself. Friedrich Nietzsche. In the hushed corridors of the bustling hospital, Anna moved with a certain quiet urgency, her white coat trailing her like a banner of hope to those watching from the doorways of their confinement. She was a counselor, a listener, a silent bearer of others' woes. Her mind often grappled with the discord between the need to provide solace and the art of drawing out truths, those evasive specters lurking behind the facades of her patient's steadfast bravado. As she paused outside room 307, the murmurs within coalesced into a discernible plea, a young man's voice grappling with shadows. With a gentle tap, Anna entered, finding David, his arms tightly folded, as though he were holding in the fear with the force of his muscles. She sat across from him, her eyes fixed on his, engaging in that invisible dance of active listening, seeking to understand the rhythm of his troubles. Beneath her practiced calm, Anna's mind turned over like waves upon the sand. Here was the inciting incident of her every day, the moment when secrets were no longer shrouded, and where her skill might yet foster a bridge of trust over the chasm of his despair. She recalled the weight of silence from another, one where words unspoken had built walls insurmountable. Not this time, she vowed silently. In the quiet, Anna noticed the softening of David's gaze, a slight unclenching of his jaw. She offered simple nods, her affirmations not through words, but through the silent language of empathy, the tender acknowledgement of his fears about the future and remorse for past deeds. In this exchange, trust was currency, paid in patience and the subtle invitation for him to unravel the threads of his heart's complexities. As the afternoon sun crept across the floor, painting the sterile room in a warmer hue, she sensed a shift. Their conversation, a soft string of revelations and acknowledgments, was punctuated only by the occasional distant siren or the soft beeps from the machinery monitoring life. The closer they inched toward mutual understanding, the further they moved from the specter of manipulation, a demon that preyed upon the disconnected and disheartened. And as Anna prepared to leave, imparting a gentle assurance of her next visit, she pondered whether it was in moments like these that true healing began. She left the room with a striking awareness of the impact, a testament to the unseen yet palpable bonds formed in the shared silence of a held gaze or the mutual nod of recognition. Could it be that this same kinship of the soul held the antidote to the world's unspoken manipulations? Unlock the power of empathy through active listening. Empathy is the heart of communication, yet it often lies obscured in a world filled with noise and distraction. This critical chapter peels back the layers to reveal how active listening is not just a technique, but a gateway to profound understanding and connection. The practice of active listening serves as a beacon, guiding one through the murky waters of manipulation and into the safe harbor of authentic relationships. It demands a presence of mind and generosity of spirit that goes beyond mere words, cultivating a fertile ground for empathy and trust to thrive. Active listening is an art that requires your full engagement, empathy, and an authentic interest in the perspective of others. Mastering this art transcends the act of hearing and extends into a realm where genuine connections are established. When you listen actively, you are not just preparing to speak, you are fully present with the person in front of you, offering them a rare gift in today's world, your undivided attention. This commitment to truly understand forms a foundation where manipulation finds no foothold, and shared understanding can flourish. As the echoes of deceit become ever more sophisticated, it is imperative to fortify your defenses against manipulation with tools that are both authentic and effective. Employing active listening is one such tool, a robust means to reinforce trust and discourage manipulative tactics that can erode the very fabric of our relationships. Trust is a delicate entity, slowly built and easily damaged. By being an active listener, you affirm the value of the speaker's thoughts, nurturing trust and setting the stage for open and honest dialogue. Understanding the nuance within each exchange can reduce conflicts and guide interactions towards constructive outcomes. Active listening encourages the speaker to express themselves fully, free from the fear of being unseen or misunderstood. This clarity of communication creates a bridge over potential misunderstandings that often lead to conflict. With this practice, you can engage in conversations that not only resolve differences, but strengthen bonds. Empathy and effectiveness are not mutually exclusive. In fact, embracing one enriches the other. As you practice active listening, you'll find your capacity for empathy grows, enabling you to become more attuned to the needs and emotions of others. This fine-tuned awareness can shield you from being swayed by emotions that manipulators might exploit, allowing you to maintain a clear and grounded perspective. Integration of active listening in your life's fabric. Imagine integrating active listening into the fabric of your life, employing it with loved ones, colleagues, and even strangers. The positive impact reverberates through all your interactions, transforming them into opportunities for growth and understanding. This is not just a set of skills to be used in isolation. It's a holistic approach leading to a more mindful, empathetic way of engaging with the world around you. Embrace your journey of listening and growth. As you journey through the pages of this chapter and beyond, consider active listening as both a shield against manipulation and a tool for personal evolvement. Like the wisdom shared by influential figures such as Eckhart Tolle and Paulo Coelho, the lessons here are timeless, beckoning you toward presence, mindfulness, and spiritual growth. Active listening is not merely an act you perform, but a state of being you inhabit, a presence that shapes and enriches every aspect of your personal journey. Master the skills of active listening. To truly understand someone, it's not enough to just hear the words they say. You must also listen. Active listening is a multifaceted skill that demands attention not only to the spoken words, but also to the unspoken elements of communication: emotion, intention, and body language. Imagine a tree where words are the leaves visible to our eyes, but the nourishment stems from the roots, the tones, pauses, and gestures that give depth to dialogue. In the bustle of our daily lives, we often listen passively, preoccupied with our thoughts, waiting for our turn to speak, rather than embracing the essence of what's being conveyed. Active listening, however, challenges us to clear our mental space, to devote our full attention to the person speaking. It's a conscious effort to absorb and reflect, to see the world through their eyes, and to feel the rhythm of their thoughts. For deeper connection, active listening engages the heart as much as the ear. It moves beyond acknowledgement, transcending mere agreement or disagreement, to a realm where understanding flourishes. To actively listen is to allow someone's words to reside in you momentarily, to know their ideas, fears, and joys, to connect on a level where words become shared experience. Employing active listening in conversations strengthens the bond between individuals. It subtly assures others of their value in your eyes, because when you truly listen, you are saying, "You matter. Your thoughts matter." This mutual respect lays the foundation for deep, meaningful relationships. It's like finding the right frequency on a radio. Suddenly, the static clears, and you can hear the music clearly. Active listening is the key to unlocking a deeper understanding and forging stronger connections. Employ active listening to reinforce trust. Active listening and trust go hand in hand. When people feel heard, they feel understood, and when they feel understood, trust begins to blossom. Think of trust as a bridge that connects two islands. Without it, the islands remain isolated. With it, a thoroughfare of ideas and support emerges. Consider the process of trust building as a gentle dance. By engaging in active listening, you're stepping in time with your partner, creating a harmonious rhythm that fosters confidence in each other's intentions. True listening signals that you are present, that you care, and that you are willing to be vulnerable too. It's a signal back to your partner, "I am with you." Manipulative tendencies wilt in the presence of active listening. A person bent on manipulation thrives on inattention and misunderstanding to twist words and intentions. Through keen active listening, you cut through the noise, discerning truth from deception. You become a locksmith in conversations, able to unlock the real message beneath the chatter. The facts are compelling. Studies have indicated that active listening can lead to lower rates of conflict and misunderstanding. It's the antidote to manipulation, in that it equips the listener with the means to question, to probe gently, and to arrive at the essence of a message without being swayed by superficial persuasion. Building trust doesn't happen overnight, but each act of active listening plants a seed from which trust can grow. It sends a message louder than words: "You can count on me to truly listen." This, in turn, reduces the likelihood of being misled or manipulated, because a space of mutual understanding and respect is less penetrable by those looking to exploit. How often do we miss the message in the noise? And how might our relationships transform if we truly listened? Practice active listening to advance effective communication. Effective communication resembles an intricate dance where each step, each movement, is essential for its beauty and grace. Active listening is one of those pivotal steps. Without it, the dialogue stumbles, the connection is lost, and misunderstandings flourish. It's about more than just waiting for your turn to speak. It's about truly understanding the rhythm and flow of the conversation. Active listening prompts us to pay attention to not only the words, but also the emotions and intentions behind them. By doing so, it acts as a bridge over the chasm of conflict. It allows you to look at the world from someone else's perspective, not to corroborate or challenge their standpoint, but simply to understand. It can diffuse potential conflict by providing a shared space where common ground can be discovered. Let's consider the dynamics of a conversation where active listening is absent. Conflicts escalate because parties are more focused on promoting their points rather than understanding the other. This creates friction and heightens the potential for disagreements to turn into disputes. However, by integrating active listening, we form a buffer against this, creating a safer, more respectful environment for all involved. Active listening in communication also involves asking thoughtful questions, reflecting on what has been said, and summarizing to ensure understanding. It's building a bridge word by word, gesture by gesture, and reaction by reaction. Imagine a potter shaping clay. Active listening shapes the conversation, molds understanding, and sculpts outcomes to the benefit of all involved. Linking the threads of deep understanding, fortified trust, and enhanced communication presents a tapestry of interconnected relationships where manipulation finds no thread to pull. Embracing the power of active listening. As we navigate the intricate dance of human interactions, the art of active listening emerges as a beacon, guiding us towards deeper connections and understanding. Through the act of listening, truly listening with intention and empathy, we unlock doors to authentic relationships built on trust and mutual respect. Active listening is not merely the act of hearing words, it is the art of embracing emotions, perspectives, and vulnerabilities shared by others. By honing this skill, we equip ourselves with a powerful tool to navigate the complexities of communication and human dynamics. Building bridges with trust and empathy. In a world where manipulative forces lurk in various forms, trust becomes our shield and empathy our compass. Through active listening, we reinforce trust in our relationships by demonstrating our genuine interest in understanding others' experiences. By offering our undivided attention and validating their emotions, we sow the seeds of empathy and cultivate a safe space where manipulation struggles to take root. The foundation of trust and empathy we build through active listening becomes a stronghold against manipulative tendencies. Nurturing effective communication and resolving conflicts. Communication forms the cornerstone of our interactions, shaping the narratives of our relationships and experiences. Through active listening, we enhance our communication skills by fostering clarity, understanding, and openness. By listening without judgment and responding with empathy, we bridge the divides that often lead to conflicts. Practicing active listening paves the way for constructive dialogues, mutual understanding, and the resolution of conflicts before they escalate. The transformative power of active listening extends beyond mere words, weaving intricate threads of connection, respect, and harmony into the fabric of our daily interactions. Cultivating the seeds of empathy and connection. In the realm of human connection, where authenticity and vulnerability reign supreme, active listening emerges as a potent force for unity and understanding. By embracing the practice of active listening, we cultivate empathy, strengthen trust, and nurture genuine connections, free from the manipulative undercurrents that often taint our interactions. Through the art of listening, we embark on a journey towards deeper human connections, where authenticity and empathy flourish, transforming our relationships into havens of mutual respect and understanding. In the symphony of human interactions, let active listening be your guiding melody, harmonizing emotions, thoughts, and experiences into a tapestry of genuine connections. Stand tall in the power of listening, for through it, we transcend mere words and embrace the profound beauty of understanding. Let empathy be your compass, trust your armor, and active listening your steadfast companion in the dance of life. Chapter 8. United We Stand. Enlisting social support. I'm not upset that you lied to me. I'm upset that from now on I can't believe you. Friedrich Nietzsche. The sun had only just begun its climb when Anna pushed open the kitchen window, letting the crisp morning air sweep through the small, cluttered room. The faint smell of last night's rain still hung in the leaves of the tall oak tree outside, the world awakening in soft blues and greens. Today was not a day for the usual rush, but for contemplation, for reaching into the well of her spirit and drawing out the clarity she so desperately sought. She shuffled around, making coffee, the chipped mug familiar in her hand. Each sip was a warm push against the cool thoughts that clouded her head. Her mind wandered back to the gathering the previous evening, the voices still echoing, the laughter, the subtle dance of eyes avoiding eyes. There was a gnawing inside her, a realization that something had gone astray with her circle of friends. Among those she had trusted, whispers had turned to words that didn't sit right, and smiles that didn't quite reach the eyes. She had felt a shift, subtle and unspoken, the sting of manipulation making its insidious way through bonds she once thought unbreakable. The coffee had gone cold by the time she noticed the bird at the windowsill. It had a boldness to it, the way it pecked at the wood, demanding notice. With a half smile, Anna realized that maybe she too needed a bit of that boldness. Could she gather her courage and confront the deceit, nip the manipulation in its bud? It meant turning to Paul, the one she always considered her steadfast friend, his advice rooted in a bed of common sense. Would he see through the play of shadows among their friends, offer her the foothold she needed? In the garden, the yellow petals of the marigold seemed to hold the morning's light, flickering like tiny suns. She remembered her grandmother's words, "The roots of true friendships are deep, no storm can tear them out." Those words had always given her strength, yet now a storm seemed to loom, a challenge to the depth of the roots she cherished. Where lay the line between confronting and being confrontational? Her heart raced at the thought, knowing that looking outward for support was as critical as the resolve that was building within. A sound from upstairs yanked her back from the turbulent sea of her thoughts. Her little boy's laughter, light and unaffected, filled the space. It was the purity of it, the simple joy that contrasted so sharply with the complexity of her adult interactions. With his love, she felt the weave of her strength tighten. He was why her circle needed to be as honest and clear as his laughter, why every manipulation hidden within fake concern and masked agendas had to be addressed. The house began to stir, the ordinary sounds of morning sneaking in around her. With each clink of a dish, the snap of the newspaper, the soft thud of footsteps, the rhythm of daily life marched on. But today it marched alongside a new beat, a determination to reclaim honesty and trust in the space around her. As her husband kissed her goodbye, his trust in her eyes, Anna felt a resolve harden. Would this quiet resolve, fostered by the support of the ones who truly cared, be enough to weather the tension and rebuild what seemed to be quietly breaking? Forge your alliance against deception. Resilience is not a journey one takes alone. It is often buttressed by the collective strength of community and connection. Amid the intricacies of human relations, the art of distinguishing genuine support from deceptive influence remains crucial. As you navigate through the entangled web of daily interactions, being surrounded by a loyal cohort can be your most effective shield against the subterfuge of manipulation. This chapter is dedicated to identifying characteristics of a supportive and trust-based social network, your personal alliance against the unseen forces that seek to sway you from your path. To emancipate oneself from the confusion that manipulation breeds, it's imperative to have confidants who can offer clear perspectives, untainted by ulterior motives. The building of such a network isn't incidental. It requires keen attention to the qualities of the people we let into our inner circle. Trust, respect for autonomy, and the capacity for honest feedback stand as pillars for relationships that empower rather than ensnare. In the quest to cultivate such bonds, reflection on personal values and the values of potential allies is vital. Each interaction in this network should bolster emotional resilience, the ability to recover from manipulative episodes quickly and with your self-esteem intact. Your chosen circle should serve as sounding boards, offering poignant insights rather than parroted validation, thus grounding you in reality when manipulative tactics threaten to upturn your sense of balance. Yet this process is bidirectional. To receive support, one must also be willing to extend it. You must become an active participant in the exchange of honest feedback. This exchange is not merely beneficial, it's a requisite for sustaining a network where reliance on each other's perceptions becomes a safeguard against manipulation. The synergy of mutual support equips each member with the foresight to recognize and sidestep potential manipulation. Utilize social support not as a crutch, but as a strategic alliance. In challenging situations where you might feel outmatched by the guiles of manipulation, a friend or confidant can lend the strength of additional perspective, a viewpoint that might unravel the complexities presented by the manipulative influence and guide you through a more objective decision-making pathway. Remember, your social fortress is only as indestructible as the authenticity of the bonds within it. It is in the reciprocal exchange of vulnerability and support that lies the true strength to resist the grips of manipulation. Each act of shared honesty fortifies the group and isolates the manipulative strands that could otherwise go unnoticed. Your ally in this dance is clear consciousness, an unwavering clarity of thought, and the willingness to discuss and dismantle manipulation with the trusted advice of your inner circle. These relationships, bound by a commitment to the truth, are not a mere convenience. They are an essential strategy for living a life unchained from manipulation's sly intrusions. Your safety net, once well constructed, can catch the early signs of deceit, ensuring that you remain steadfast and true to your path of authenticity and self-trust. Identifying a trust-based support network. The foundation of any sturdy building lies in its support structures. Similarly, in life, a robust social network plays a critical role in one's emotional edifice. A supportive and trust-based network is akin to steel beams in a skyscraper, underpinning our ability to cope with the winds of manipulation that occasionally blow through our lives. Trust isn't tangibly measured, yet it's felt deeply. It's the assurance that the feedback we receive from friends and family is genuine and meant for our betterment. Imagine a network of roads. Just as you rely on these thoroughfares to connect you to your desired destination securely, a strong social network operates in a parallel fashion. It is composed of individuals who are consistently reliable, genuinely care for your welfare, and understand the importance of a mutual exchange of ideas and support. These aren't merely fair-weather friends, but those who stick around even when the storm clouds of challenge loom overhead. Characteristics of such a network include open communication, honesty, respect, and most importantly, a lack of judgment. When we speak freely, we open the door to receive support that is both constructive and empowering. Members of this tribe don't shy away from pointing out the reefs beneath our waters. Instead, they provide the lighthouse direction to steer clear of potential pitfalls. A trusted network amplifies our inner voice, reassuring us when doubts arise and who to seek advice from when choices blur. Looking within such a network, we find individuals with whom we share common values and goals. They reflect a portion of who we are, who we desire to become, and inspire us by their actions toward us and others. This constellation of trusted acquaintances, friends, and family is distinguished by the warmth it brings to our hearts, the strength it lends to our spirits, and the wisdom it imparts to our minds. The core of a supportive network is built on trust, connection, and mutual respect. Utilizing support to build resilience. Resilience is the rubber of our emotional soul, allowing us to walk over life's sharp pebbles without getting hurt. It is bolstered not only by our individual strengths, but also by the collective support we garner from those around us. Navigating through social pressures and manipulative influences requires an inner toughness that is often reinforced by the people we trust. Just as a tree absorbs nutrients from its environment to stand tall against storms, humans engage with their social environment to gather strength. Engaging with our network during times of adversity keeps the winds of manipulation from uprooting our beliefs. In the presence of unwavering support, what was overwhelming becomes manageable, and our ability to reason through manipulative tactics sharpens. By sharing our experiences with trustworthy individuals, we tap into an expanded pool of knowledge and strategies. Our support network helps us dissect manipulative experiences, providing us with fresh insights and multiple perspectives. They act as sounding boards, affirming our feelings and backing our decisions to help us reclaim our autonomy. In the echo chamber of life, our voice might waver or falter, but through a solid social scaffold, it is amplified and resonates more clearly. When faced with manipulation, this group reminds us of our worth, empowering us to say no when needed and to stand firm on our values. They encourage assertiveness, prompting us to confront challenges head-on. Empowerment through social support is like a quilt stitched together with threads of encouragement, compassion, and shared battles against manipulation. Each patch represents a person, a situation, or a newly acquired piece of wisdom that contributes to our ability to stand strong. The quilt protects us from the cold grasp of isolation and the engine of manipulation that often preys on the solitary. How might your support network become your shield and your counsel, helping you reflect on manipulative encounters with renewed strength and a calibrated moral compass? Honest feedback, the antidote to manipulation. In a world chock full of deceptive cues and persuasive tactics, honest feedback is our compass needle pointing to true north. It's a currency more valuable than silver or gold when navigating through manipulative fog. Seeking and offering honest feedback is not only a form of caring, but also a defense strategy against manipulative tactics, ensuring that truth wraps around us like an impenetrable cloak. Consider a gardener tending to their plants. They must identify the weeds that could strangle their flowers, just as we must recognize manipulation that may strangle our autonomy. Honest feedback from our support network acts as the gardener's tool, cutting away the creeping vines of deceit and encouraging healthy growth. It's a hands-on approach wherein our trusted allies help us spot the discrepancies between words and actions, between genuine intent and hidden agendas. In an exchange of honest feedback, there's a flow of transparency, like clean water that is refreshing and revitalizing. This communicative exchange does not tolerate the murky waters of deceit. It seeks clarity, insists upon it, and in that clarity, one finds the strength to wrest control back from manipulative influences. One valuable framework involves actively engaging in feedback sessions. Start by sharing your experiences, then listen without defensiveness. Encourage your network to ask probing questions that help uncover underlying motives in the situations you faced. Reflect openly on the insights offered, and finally, strategize together on steps to avoid manipulation. By entwining our roots with those who impart unbiased judgment and sincere advice, we fortify our standing in the face of manipulation. In this shared journey, the road to mastery over one's own decisions becomes less treacherous. Collectively, through the lens of supportive and truthful communication, we unravel the hidden strings of manipulation, regaining the art of autonomy. A strong support network, the resilience it fosters, and the honest feedback it provides form the bulwark against the tides of manipulation. Seeking social support from trustworthy individuals is not a sign of weakness, but rather a display of strength. It signifies the willingness to seek guidance and validation from those who respect your autonomy and integrity. Building a supportive network of friends, family, or colleagues fosters emotional resilience and provides a safe haven to navigate manipulative influences. When you surround yourself with people who have your best interests at heart, you create a shield against manipulation and deceit. This network becomes a powerful tool in your arsenal, offering perspectives and insights that can help you weather the storms of manipulation with clarity and confidence. Trusted individuals within your social network can serve as beacons of truth and honesty in a sea of manipulation. Their feedback can act as a guiding light, illuminating your path and helping you stay true to yourself. By both offering and seeking honest feedback within this circle of trust, you create an environment where manipulation struggles to take root. Genuine feedback not only exposes manipulation tactics, but also strengthens your ability to discern between genuine intentions and hidden agendas. In the realm of social support lies a wellspring of resilience against manipulation. By nurturing these relationships and cultivating trust, you equip yourself with a formidable defense against manipulative pressures. Each interaction within this trusted circle becomes a lesson in empowerment, a reminder that you are not alone in your journey to master the art of autonomy. As you embrace the support of those who value your authenticity, you pave the way for a more confident and discerning approach to navigating the complexities of manipulation. Chapter 9. The Journey to Authenticity. Reclaiming your autonomy. The first principle of freedom is the right to go to hell in your own handbasket. Robert A. Heinlein. The warm glow of the sunset bathed Emma's apartment as she sat silently on her worn-out couch, her fingers tracing the frayed edges of a faded cushion. The orange light cast long shadows across the room, mirroring the tangled thoughts crisscrossing her mind. After years of bending like a reed to the whims of others, she found herself at the precipice of change, teetering between the comfort of compliance and the uncertain promise of autonomy. Next door, laughter spilled from the window of her neighbor, a stark contrast to the solitude in which Emma resided. The sound was like a distant melody, one that spoke of connections genuine and untainted by expectations. It echoed within her, stirring a dormant ache to break free from her self-crafted chains of appeasement. The thought hovered over her like a quiet revelation, shaping dreams of a new dawn where her voice would not merely echo others but speak a truth uniquely her own. As the sky turned a deepening hue of crimson and purple, she mulled over a looming confrontation at work. She envisioned herself finally speaking out against Greg, her manager, whose subtle manipulations had long steered her decisions, her assignments, even her aspirations. Emma often found herself swallowed by the stark reality of her quiet compliance, yet she yearned for the day her own agency would reclaim the silenced parts of her spirit. She rehearsed words of assertiveness, tasting their unfamiliar contours on her tongue. A child's ball bounced against her window, jolting her back into the room suffused with the dying light. The interruption was brief, but enough to anchor her for a moment in the present, a reminder of the elusive balance between internal struggles and the world's persistent rhythm. She took a deep breath, let it out slowly, feeling her resolve solidify with each passing second. Emma pondered the art of autonomy, how it was not just a skill to be mastered but a craft, a personal sculpture that required patience, dedication, and an unwavering hand. Would she have the courage to chisel away the layers of expected conformity, to reveal the honest shape of her integrity underneath? Unveiling the power of choice. In the dense thicket of daily life, personal autonomy stands as a beacon, guiding individuals toward a life of integrity and purpose. Cultivating this autonomy is not merely about walking an independent path. It is a deliberate act of reclaiming one's agency from the undercurrents of manipulation that often dictate our choices. The journey to authenticity requires a steadfast commitment to introspection, a honing of one's ability to discern genuine connection from manipulation, and a forging of relationships grounded in mutual respect and understanding. Mastering autonomy is more than a personal victory. It alters the fabric of our interactions, infusing them with authenticity. The transformative impact of such empowerment echoes through every handshake, every decision, every boundary set, and every honest word spoken. Recognizing this transformation demands a pause, a moment to appreciate that the essence of human connection thrives on the bedrock of autonomy. Navigating the terrain of influence. Equipping oneself with the tools of autonomy is a proactive stance against the pervasive tactics of manipulation that silently influence our daily lives. The skills required to dissect these strings are not esoteric. They are practical, accessible, and undeniably effective. As we encounter complex social dynamics, the application of such insights becomes a shield, guarding our sense of self and enabling us to interact with the world on our own terms. Asserting agency becomes a routine, as natural as breathing. In an era where autonomy is often challenged, asserting one's integrity becomes a revolutionary act. To embody these principles is to engage in a subtle, yet profound form of rebellion against the unseen puppeteers of society. The assertion of agency is not a solitary battle. It resonates, inspiring others to reflect on their own capacities for self-governance. This ripple effect engenders a collective awakening, ushering in an epoch where integrity and authenticity reign supreme in human conduct. The art of entangling. Fostering authentic relationships requires a delicate dance, a mindful approach to distancing ourselves from those interactions that are inherently manipulative. Authentic connections do not flourish in the shadow of ulterior motives. They bask in the light of transparency and sincerity. Embracing such relationships is akin to sowing seeds in fertile ground, where the roots of trust can penetrate deeply, unimpeded by the stones of deceit. The art of seeing through manipulation is not about cultivating cynicism. It is about nurturing a healthy skepticism that permits us to engage with the world openly, yet cautiously. It encourages a proactive questioning of the narratives we are presented with, a thoughtful examination of the motives behind the words and actions of others, and a careful discernment of truth from falsehood. This approach safeguards our ability to make choices that resonate with our deepest convictions, free from the tethers of manipulation. Strengthening your inner compass. Central to this journey is the fortification of emotional resilience. Encounters with manipulation can leave individuals feeling disoriented, questioning their judgment and perceptions. Building a robust emotional core enables one to weather these confrontations with grace and certainty. Emotional resilience empowers us to view attempts at manipulation not as personal affronts, but as opportunities to affirm our autonomy and to hone our proficiency in deflecting such tactics. The quest for authenticity is inherently personal, yet universally relevant. It beckons us to shed the cloaks of conformity, to question the status quo, and to assert our individuality in a world that often prizes homogeneity. In embracing authenticity, one not only stands in their truth, but also honors the multifaceted nature of humanity, celebrating the diversity that enriches our collective experience. Embarking on the path of self-discovery. The narrative of personal transformation and growth resonates through time and culture, offering a shared journey toward enlightenment and self-discovery. Influential thinkers like Eckhart Tolle and Paulo Coelho have long extolled the virtues of mindfulness, spiritual growth, and personal journeys. Their wisdom serves not only as inspiration, but also as a roadmap for those seeking to reclaim their autonomy in the face of manipulation. This transformative journey does not promise a destination free of struggles or challenges. However, it guarantees a richer experience of life, replete with deeper connections and a truer sense of self. As you navigate the contours of this path, do so with the knowledge that each step taken is an affirmation of your autonomy, an ode to your resilience, and a testament to your unwavering pursuit of authenticity. Each choice, each assertion of will, is a thread in the tapestry of your unique human experience, woven with the vibrant colors of autonomy and independence. Recognizing the transformative impact of autonomy. Autonomy, the very essence of our personal freedom, shapes how we interact with the world around us. It's the rudder that guides our personal vessel through life's vast and sometimes tumultuous oceans. When we channel our autonomy, every interaction becomes a reflection of our authentic selves, rather than a mirror of someone else's expectations or demands. Imagine you're a tree, with branches representing your every relationship and interaction. Autonomy is like the sturdy trunk that holds these branches firmly in place. Without it, the tree sways uncontrollably at the mercy of the wind, the whims and wills of others. But with autonomy, the tree stands tall and unyielding. Its branches flourish in the direction they choose. When we fail to recognize the importance of autonomy, our personal interactions can become somewhat scripted. We may find ourselves saying yes when our mind screams no, committing to others' agendas and losing sight of our own. This lack of authenticity doesn't just affect our sense of self, it sows the seeds of resentment and fatigue, eroding our relationships from within. Genuine autonomy allows us to engage with clarity and purpose. Decisions are no longer made in the shadows of doubt or pressure, but in the light of our sincere desires and values. When we operate from this core strength, our relationships become more meaningful and less marred by the strain of disguised compliance or veiled intent. Autonomy is the cornerstone that transforms our engagements into authentic expressions of who we truly are. Applying insights to assert agency and integrity. To live autonomously is to write your life script with a pen firmly in your grasp. Reclaiming our autonomy isn't as simple as reading a set of instructions, but rather a series of deliberate steps and mindful adjustments in our daily interactions. With every chapter you've turned in this book, you've edged closer to an understanding of how to assert your agency and uphold your integrity amidst the noise. These insights are tools. Use them to carve out a personal space where your voice is not only heard but also respected. Let's consider a sculptor, carefully chiseling away at a block of marble. Each stroke is made with intent, guided by a vision of what lies within. Asserting your agency and integrity resembles this art form, with each action and decision aimed at revealing your truest self. Your autonomy is the chisel, methodically crafting the masterpiece that is your authentic life. Rhetorical devices become these sculptures' marks when we apply them to our discussions around autonomy. Questions like, "What truly motivates my choices?" or statements such as, "I am the architect of my fate," aren't mere words, but reflections that bring the otherwise nebulous concepts of agency and integrity into clear focus. Asserting this personal agency requires recognizing the strings that may have manipulated us in the past. Recognition is insufficient on its own. Action must follow. Whether it's setting boundaries that protect your mental space or speaking your truth even when your voice shakes, each step fortifies your personal autonomy. Will you, like the sculptor with their marble, take up the tools laid out in this narrative and craft a life reflective of your true essence? Embracing authentic connections. In the dance of human interaction, authenticity is the rhythm that syncs our movements to our internal music. To embrace authentic connections is to move away from the manipulative tangos and into a space where each step is grounded in truth and mutual respect. Facts are, relationships entangled in manipulation are like vines that wrap around a tree, slowly constricting its growth. These vines may present themselves as bonds of care or necessity, yet they often manipulate the tree into an unnatural shape. Authentic connections, conversely, are akin to the relationship between a tree and the earth. Each supports the other without hindrance or control. A framework for fostering these connections might be as simple as the ABC of authenticity: acknowledgement of your feelings and thoughts, boundaries that protect your autonomy, and communication that is open and genuine. With every interaction that passes this ABC test, you are more likely to cultivate relationships that are enriching rather than exhausting. Authentic connections also demand emotional agility. To dance freely to the beat of authenticity, one must be able to navigate the complex emotional landscapes of themselves and others. It's the nimble stepping between joy, fear, love, and disappointment, all while staying true to oneself. Your autonomy is your North Star in the sea of relationships, consistently guiding you towards connections that resonate with your core being. To know oneself is the bedrock of genuine interaction. It is where true connections take root and flourish. By recognizing the transformative power of autonomy, applying insights to assert our agency, and embracing authentic connections, we learn to navigate life's interactions with integrity and purpose. Embracing your authentic self. As you navigate the intricate path towards reclaiming your autonomy, remember that this journey is not just about standing your ground against manipulation. It's about rediscovering your authentic self. By recognizing the transformative power of autonomy in your personal interactions, you are not only asserting your agency, but also nurturing genuine connections free from manipulation. The key to authentic connections. Applying the insights gleaned from this journey will be your guiding light in fostering true authenticity in your relationships. Remember to assert your agency with confidence, uphold your integrity with unwavering conviction, and approach interactions with openness and transparency. By doing so, you will naturally gravitate towards authentic connections that enrich your life and uplift your spirit. A new horizon of possibilities. As you step into the realm of authenticity and autonomy, envision a future where manipulative entanglements hold no power over you. Embrace the freedom that comes with knowing yourself deeply, standing firm in your values, and nurturing relationships based on trust and respect. This journey may have its challenges, but the rewards are immeasurable. A life rich with genuine connections and a sense of self that is unwavering in the face of manipulation. In this journey towards authenticity, remember that self-discovery is an ongoing process, a continuous unfolding of your true essence. Trust in your ability to navigate the complexities of human interactions with grace and integrity. Embrace the power of autonomy to shape your destiny and forge connections that feed your soul. Let authenticity be your compass, guiding you towards a life filled with meaningful connections and profound fulfillment. Chapter 10. The Empowered Self. Strategies against manipulation. The best way to find out if you can trust somebody is to trust them. Ernest Hemingway. The morning sun etched the beginnings of sweat on Michael's brow as he navigated the crowded farmer's market, the fresh scent of cilantro and strawberries mingling in the air. The hum of conversation floated around him like a familiar tune, punctuated by the sharp clap of hands exchanging goods for cash. Michael, however, was not there for the produce. His mind was a tangled web of thoughts, memories, and a gnawing unease. Just last evening, his trust had been ensnared by a supposed friend's honeyed words and subtle pressure, leaving him lighter in pocket and heavier in heart. Amongst the stalls, a cunning vendor caught Michael's eye, praising the virtues of his wares with the fervor of a revivalist preacher. This man's silver tongue painted pictures Michael could touch. Yet this spectacle was now transparent to him. The allure it once held had faded like mist under the morning's touch. He watched the crowd, seeing himself in their eager nods and compliant smiles as they fell under spells he now sought the strength to break. At a stand stacked high with handcrafted goods, he paused and let his fingers trail over the wooden carvings. The craftsman's deep-set eyes met Michael's, and in that gaze he found a silent understanding. This was a man who spoke plainly, his pitch an honest testament to his work, not an attempt to ensnare. Here was the respect Michael wished to emulate, an exchange unmarred by hidden intent or manipulation. The taste of ripened peaches interrupted his contemplation. A child, cheeks blooming with the flush of summer, offered him a slice, her mother's watchful eyes tracing the lines of generosity that surely rested on Michael's face. The sweetness was a fleeting reprieve, a simple act laden with the power of genuine connection that went beyond any transaction. As the day wore on, the market's vitality began to wane, and Michael found his way to the outskirts where the city's noise bled into the peace of green spaces. He sat on a bench, the worn wood a testament to countless others who sought solace beneath these trees. In this pause, Michael gathered the day's lessons like stones in his pocket, each a solid weight against the pull of deceit. He pondered his own influence, the weight of truth in his own words, and how he sought to wield them. Would he now recognize the seductive dance of manipulation as it approached? Could the art of resilience be honed sharp enough to cut through to the genuine core of human interaction? It was in this quiet contemplation, amidst the backdrop of life's simplicity, where Michael's resolve solidified. How do we learn to trust once more when our confidence in others has been shaken? Seize control, your autonomy, your terms. An unknowing marionette to unseen puppeteers. That's what life can feel like when manipulation creeps into our interactions. Yet, standing in the penultimate chapter of our exploration of manipulation, we're perched on the edge of revelation and strength. Knowledge is power, and the insights we now possess on the tactics of manipulation poise us to reclaim authority over our lives. This empowerment begins when we recognize the signs of manipulation and detach ourselves from the strings that others may try to pull. The essence of our journey has been rooted in unveiling the subtle nuances of influence. Manipulation often masquerades as benign guidance or genuine concern, and discerning the difference is more than intellectual, it's a critical life skill. As we have seen, manipulation shapeshifts across various aspects of life, sometimes sugar-coated in relationships, at other times as a heavy hand in the world of commerce or politics. But with the fortress of awareness we've built, such tactics can be disarmed, dismantled, and discarded. Autonomy blooms when manipulation wilts, And that transformation is what this book has cultivated within each reader. Strategies to counter manipulation aren't merely defensive maneuvers. They're proactive steps to fortify your sense of self and confidence in your decisions. As you learn to incorporate these strategies into your daily life, they become less like armor you put on and more like your skin, natural and part of you. The resilience you build will not only serve as a shield, but will empower you to create authenticity in your interactions. Every nod of understanding, every murmur of agreement will be yours to give or withhold, freely and judiciously. Navigating the complex webs of influence can seem an arduous task. Yet with each chapter turned, we've stitched a tapestry of resilience and enlightenment that no false thread can unravel. The capacity to walk life's tightrope with confidence and autonomy is not innate. It's learned and earned through trials, setbacks, and critically triumphs. As you step into your empowered self, hold on to the knowledge that you are the architect of your reality. Your ability to parse through the clutter of manipulation reinforces your rightful hold on the reins of your existence. This empowerment is not just a personal gain, but a beacon for collective change. When we stand firm in our resistance to manipulation, we alter the currents of influence and set a new standard of interaction, one where transparency, respect, and authenticity are the norm. In shedding light on the shadows of manipulation, we inherently encourage a culture where only genuine connections thrive. Remember, the tools for recognizing and defending against manipulation are more than just defensive gears. They are lighthouse beacons guiding you towards interpersonal shores worth treading. Your journey of discovery doesn't end with the final pages of this book. It merely shifts into a new phase. The strategies and insights you carry forward will serve as both a map and compass on the path to maintaining your empowerment in the face of future attempts to manipulate, allowing your personal growth and spiritual journey to continue unhindered. An Autonomous Life is a masterpiece of personal authenticity, meticulously crafted through patience and perseverance. As we synthesize the themes presented throughout this work, you are invited to brush the final strokes on a canvas of self-protection and personal sovereignty. With every step taken and every lesson learned, you are not just reading a book, you are rewriting the script of your own life, firmly holding the pen that defines your narrative, ensuring the drama unfolds according to your sacred direction. Acquire knowledge of common manipulative tactics and their countermeasures. Manipulation is a crafty beast, often lurking beneath the surface of social interactions. At its core, it's an attempt to sway someone's choices or actions without their informed consent. Knowledge is the first step to taming this beast. Think of manipulative tactics like chess moves, each designed to control the board, which in this case is the direction of your thoughts and actions. It's vital to recognize these moves: guilt-tripping, gaslighting, love-bombing, and the exertion of peer pressure, to name a few. Each play preys on emotions and trust to steer one into a desired outcome. To understand manipulation, consider the analogy of a magician's sleight of hand. The magician diverts your attention, creates illusions, and before you know it, the unexpected is presented as the grand finale. With manipulators, the illusions are the exaggerated emotions, false dilemmas, and too good to be true promises. Once you know the tricks and where to look, the illusion loses its power. Similarly, with countermeasures in place, like asserting boundaries, questioning motives, and seeking facts, you can spot the misdirection and remain grounded in your reality. Countermeasures against manipulation are defensive techniques that uphold your autonomy. Setting and respecting personal boundaries is akin to building a moat around your castle. It creates a clear line that others must recognize and respect. Cultivate a habit of critical thinking as well, which acts as the castle's scout, always surveying the horizon for potential threats. When you encounter attempts to influence you, ask questions. Why is this person advocating for this? What do they gain? What do I lose? This approach not only dispels illusions, but also fosters an environment where manipulative tactics lose their potency. Despite the prevalence of manipulation in various forms, we aren't doomed to be perpetual victims. By educating ourselves on these tactics and reinforcing our mental defenses, we rise above the undercurrents trying to sweep us away. It's not just about knowing what to look for. It's about developing reflexes that automatically react to manipulation's touch. These reflexes include saying no, seeking second opinions, and trusting our intuition when something feels off. Revealing and thwarting manipulative tactics is akin to mastering self-defense for the mind. Integrate strategies for resilience and empowerment in daily life. Empowerment is more than a buzzword. It's a fundamental strategy for thriving in a world rife with manipulation. Integrating this strategy into our daily lives is akin to building an immune system against the invisible pathogens of coercive influences that surround us. This requires nurturing a strong sense of self-worth, which acts as a shield, bouncing off anyone who tries to undermine our value with their selfish agendas. The process is not unlike cultivating a garden. Resilience and empowerment flourish in the fertile soil of healthy habits and self-care. Seeds of positive affirmations and self-assurance, once sown, grow into a robust flora that offers shade from the relentless sun of manipulation. Nourishing this garden demands continuous learning, self-reflection, and adaptation. The more enriched the soil, the less room there is for weeds, the manipulative tactics to take root. When we talk about empowerment, it's like setting the table for a meal. Every utensil, from the fork of assertiveness to the spoon of discernment, has its place. The plate, the foundation, holds our values, personal goals, and self-respect. Eating from this table daily strengthens our resolve and our sense of personal agency. It's about self-authorship, writing the story of our lives with our own pen, and not letting another dictate the narrative. Empowerment's tapestry is woven with the threads of resilience, each strand capturing a moment where we bounce back stronger. Drawing inspiration from the lives of those who've overcome great adversities can serve as a powerful reminder that resilience isn't just born, it's also built. The fabric these threads create is not only vibrant, but incredibly durable, capable of withstanding the pull and tug of manipulative forces. Engaging in activities that promote self-efficacy, such as achieving small goals, learning new skills, or sharing your experiences with others, can create a positive feedback loop that reinforces belief in oneself. By actively integrating strategies for resilience, we craft a narrative of empowerment that keeps us anchored in daily life. Navigate complex webs of influence with confidence and autonomy. Influence permeates our existence. It's as omnipresent as the air we breathe, and just as necessary for societal interaction. Yet when influence turns into manipulation, the air becomes charged with static, sparking confusion and anxiety. Navigating this complex web requires a clear head and an understanding heart. It's not unlike walking through a bustling city street. One has to be aware of their surroundings, the paths they can take, and the intentions of those they encounter along the way. Imagine the web of influence as a network of interconnected lights. Each light represents a point of impact on our lives: the bright glare of the media, the tiny yet insistent flicker of an acquaintance, or the steady glow of a trusted friend. There's a skill in discerning which lights to move toward and which to avoid. It's a dance of choice and judgment. Autonomy in this context is your compass, helping you chart a course based on internal values rather than external pressure. It's the difference between being swayed by every breeze and standing firm with roots deep in the ground. Autonomy also means recognizing that it's okay to seek counsel or collaborate with others, as long as the final choice echoes our true intentions and beliefs. Confidence is your stride through this web. It's not about being impervious to influence, but about welcoming it with a critical mind and an open yet cautious heart. Confidence is forged through a blend of self-knowledge, experience, and the wisdom to recognize that we always have a choice, even if it's just in how we respond. The key strategy is to maintain this confidence and autonomy by constantly assessing and reassessing the influences around us, much like a sailor adjusts the sails to navigate the changing winds at sea. We lean into trusted sources and plant our feet firmly when faced with questionable ones. Staying informed, reflecting on our values, and keeping an open dialogue with our inner selves are the lighthouses guiding us through foggy seas. By acquiring knowledge of manipulative tactics, integrating resilience and confidence in daily life, and navigating influence with autonomy, we weave the tapestry of an empowered self, unchained and authentic. As you reflect on the journey of uncovering the hidden strings of manipulation and fortifying your defenses against its subtle influence, remember that knowledge is your greatest ally. Armed with a deep understanding of manipulative tactics and their countermeasures, you have equipped yourself with a shield of awareness and a sword of resilience. Integrating these strategies into your daily life is not merely a task, but a transformation of consciousness, allowing you to navigate relationships, work environments, and societal pressures with a newfound sense of empowerment. Embracing autonomy and resilience. The essence of autonomy lies in your ability to discern the puppeteer's strings and reclaim control of your thoughts, emotions, and actions. By cultivating resilience, you fortify your inner strength against manipulation, standing firmly in your truth and values. Resilience is not the absence of challenges, but the ability to rise above them with unwavering conviction in the face of adversity. As you walk this path of empowerment, remember that setbacks are not defeats, but stepping stones to greater self-awareness and growth. Navigating the web of influence. In the labyrinth of influence, your autonomy serves as a compass guiding you through the intricate webs woven by manipulative forces. Trust in your instincts, sharpened by knowledge and anchored in ethical considerations, to steer you towards authentic connections and genuine interactions. Confidence blooms in the soil of authenticity, allowing you to engage with the world from a place of integrity and strength. As you navigate the complexities of influence, remember that your autonomy is your greatest asset, a beacon illuminating the path to meaningful relationships and empowered choices. A journey of resilience and authenticity. The journey of unmasking manipulation and cultivating autonomy is not a destination, but a continuous evolution, a testament to your commitment to self-discovery and growth. Remember that every challenge is an opportunity for growth, every setback a lesson in resilience, and every triumph a celebration of your authenticity. May your journey be marked by the unwavering light of awareness, the steadfast strength of resilience, and the enduring grace of authenticity. In the tapestry of life, let your threads be woven with the colors of empowerment, autonomy, and genuine connection. Journey towards autonomy and resilience. In the labyrinth of human interactions, where every path may lead to unexpected outcomes, it is the light of awareness that guides us to our true destination. This journey shows us that the art of navigating through manipulation does not solely rely on detecting falsehoods or deflecting unsolicited influences, but rather on cultivating an unshakable sense of autonomy and a deep, resonant connection with our inner selves. The real-world applications of the insights shared in this narrative are vast and varied. Whether in the intricate dance of workplace dynamics, in the subtle nuances of family relations, or in the broader scope of societal interactions, the ability to discern genuine intentions from manipulative tactics serves as a keystone to building authentic connections. It empowers you to stand firm within your values while engaging with the world from a place of informed confidence. We've delved into the mechanics of manipulation, peeling back layers to expose its core. We've explored the darkness of exploitation and the luminosity of sincere influence. These contrasts are not merely academic, they are deeply woven into the fabric of our daily encounters. By revisiting the key arguments and findings, namely the significance of understanding psychological triggers, recognizing the subtleties of language, the power of emotional intelligence, and the strength found in vulnerability, you're reminded that these are not just concepts but tools for transformation. Moving forward, it is paramount to integrate this newfound knowledge into your actions and decisions. Start by sharpening your observational skills, not just of others' behaviors, but also of your own reactions and vulnerabilities. Cultivate empathy and understanding, not as a weakness, but as a strategic asset that enriches your perspective. Enhance your emotional resilience, for it is in managing our own emotions that we find the clarity to see through attempts to cloud our judgment. It is important to acknowledge that no work of this nature is without its limitations. The dynamics of human behavior are complex and ever-evolving. Thus, the need for further exploration into the nuanced interactions between individual psychology and societal influences remains. Your journey does not end with the turning of the last page. It is an ongoing process of learning, unlearning, and relearning. Take heart and take action. Let the insights from this narrative serve not only as a beacon, but as a compass, guiding you towards more authentic and empowered interactions. Trust in your ability to grow and adapt, for it is within your grasp to cultivate an existence rich in genuine connections and free from the shadows of manipulation. In closing, remember that the journey towards personal autonomy is both profound and rewarding. It's a path that leads you not only towards safeguarding your integrity, but also towards fostering a deeper understanding and compassion for those around you. In the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years. Abraham Lincoln. This poignant reminder from one of history's most revered figures encapsulates the essence of our shared journey. Let us fill our years with life, not by merely guarding against manipulation, but by embracing authenticity, resilience, and most importantly, the unyielding courage to live in accordance with our true selves. Conclusion. As we come closer to the end of our exploration into the Manipulation Playbook, discover secret techniques to influence people and master mind control. Develop emotional intelligence, resilience, and harness the power of persuasion with dark psychology. We reflect on the journey we've shared with a sense of empowerment and clarity. Through the pages of this book, we have explored the depths of addiction, examined its complexities, and discovered the tools necessary to combat its logic. From understanding hidden influences to developing emotional intelligence and critical thinking, each chapter has been a beacon of light guiding us to reclaim our independence and authenticity. In our interconnected world, where influence is hidden everywhere, the ability to distinguish change from actual ideas is powerful. Armed with knowledge, fortified with resilience, and guided by an unwavering commitment to loyalty, we stand tall as guardians of our destiny. But our journey doesn't end here. It just turns into a lifelong pursuit of self-discovery and empowerment. Beyond these pages, as we move forward in the world, we take with us lessons learned and insights gained. We remember to actively listen, speak honestly, and build trust-based relationships based on mutual respect. Let's embrace the power of borders in defining our own territory and respecting the boundaries of others. And we never waver in our determination to think critically, to always question assumptions, examine evidence, and expose prejudice wherever it may lurk. Let us stand firm in our independence, knowing that our flexibility and authenticity are our greatest weapons in the face of distracting change. Despite the lure of manipulation, we must be strong in our ability to govern, because our resistance and authenticity are our greatest weapons. And as we face challenges to human character and identity, let us meet them all with courage, compassion, and our steadfastness. In closing, the Manipulation Playbook has illuminated the path to empowerment amidst the shadows of manipulation. Through each chapter, we've unraveled the complexities of influence, fortified our defenses, and reclaimed our autonomy. Let's recap the journey. Chapter 1 urged us to understand covert manipulation, identifying unseen forces that shape our decisions. Chapter 2 illuminated the ethics of influence, guiding us in navigating the delicate balance between persuasion and manipulation. Chapter 3 provided multidisciplinary insights, enriching our understanding of manipulation's impacts. Chapter 4 empowered us to cultivate emotional intelligence, fortifying our hearts against manipulation's grip. Chapter 5 honed our critical thinking skills, equipping us to discern truth from deception. Chapter 6 emphasized the power of boundaries, fostering mutual respect and autonomy. Chapter 7 highlighted the impact of active listening, enhancing trust and empathy in our interactions. Chapter 8 underscored the importance of social support, offering resilience against manipulation's ploys. Chapter 9 encouraged us to reclaim authenticity, empowering us to assert agency in our lives. Chapter 10 equipped us with strategies to combat manipulation and embrace resilience. Finally, as we navigate the complexities of human interaction, I want to give you a few tips to practice manipulation ethically in real life. Practice active listening. Truly listen to others' perspectives and concerns, fostering genuine understanding and empathy. Cultivate emotional intelligence. Recognize and regulate your emotions, building rapport and trust with others authentically. Communicate effectively. Use clear and honest communication to express your intentions and boundaries respectfully. Build trust-based relationships. Prioritize honesty, transparency, and mutual respect in your interactions, fostering genuine connections. Respect boundaries. Honor others' boundaries and consent, avoiding coercion or manipulation for personal gain. Remember, manipulation practiced with integrity and empathy can foster positive outcomes and strengthen relationships. Let us move forward with courage, compassion, and unwavering authenticity. Final thoughts. As you close the final pages of this book, realize that you are not finished yet, but there is an endless process of change. Serve each day as a key to implementing your improved stability, being a means of self-discovery, and making true friendships based on trust and understanding. So, my dear reader, let the lamp of truth clearly mark your path, and you will be assured of its reliability on the path we have walked together. And remember to trust the strength that lives deep within you to take you through the shadowy paths of deception and overcome all the obstacles that stand in your way of your own life. Say goodbye, and may you have strength of heart, unimpeachable judgment, and unwavering faith as you embark on a confusing, treacherous, and consequential spiritual journey. Farewell, dear reader, and may your journey be filled with resilience, authenticity, and boundless empowerment.